Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, Iraqi Prime Minister Adel Abdul Mahdi on Sunday accused the Trump administration of violating his nation's sovereignty and further heightening tensions in the region after the U.S. bombed several targets in Iraq and Syria, killing at least 25 fighters and injuring dozens more. The Pentagon claimed the airstrikes, which U.S. President Donald Trump approved late Saturday, were a defensive response to a rocket attack on an Iraqi military base last week that killed an American contractor. The U.S. blamed the Kataib Hezbollah militia for the attack and pointed fingers at Iran, which the Trump administration said is funding and arming the group. Kataib Hezbollah quickly vowed retaliatory action, saying the Trump administration's actions have left it with no choice but confrontation. An Iraqi militia group allied with Kataib Hezbollah said it's their duty to put an end to the U.S. military presence in Iraq through every legitimate method. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. On Thursday, Assistant Porham, Oklahoma Police Chief David Ray Cash was arrested and charged for crimes associated with the sexual assault of two small children, a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old. In this case, one of the victims actually called 911 to report the abuse in progress. The Free Thought Project, citing the Muskogee County Sheriff's Office, says that deputies responded to a 911 call on December 19th. The caller, reportedly one of the victims, told dispatch that the 49-year-old Cash was sexually assaulting them, according to an affidavit filed with the case. The Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation conducted a sexual assault nurse examination, which found injuries to one of the children were consistent with child sexual abuse. While he was detained during interviews, the assistant chief confessed to sexually assaulting the two children on multiple occasions between September and December. According to a 36-count grand jury indictment, a Seattle company used a hidden drain to dump a highly corrosive chemical solution directly into the sewer system. The Mind Unleashed reports inside the sewer, a robot's camera recorded a white stain of unknown origin. And according to a federal indictment handed down earlier this month, federal agents executed a search warrant after real-time monitoring equipment they installed indicated an unusual spike in the water's pH. During the search, a portable pump covered in a high pH liquid and a hidden drain that had never been disclosed were both discovered. It turns out that both the company's owner and manager of the plant, who happen to be cousins, have been lying to regulators since at least 2009, according to the indictment. The scheme was discovered in 2018. The Seattle Barrel and Cooperage Company collects used 55-gallon industrial drums and resells them after undergoing a reconditioning process. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
This is William Chambers. Now a retired insurance salesman, Chambers is just one of over 95% of grandfathers who, according to a new report from the Center of Business Intelligence, secured their first and only job by walking right up to the owner of a business and asking for a position right then and there.
I slammed my fist on the desk and said, "I'm your man." He stood right up He shook my hand and he said, "You come in first thing Monday morning."
According to the report, nearly 36% of grandfathers claim that they found employment by entering a local business with nothing but a nickel in their pockets and a shirt on their backs. 24% saw a fine-looking marquee for a business and said, "Someday my name's going to be on that sign." And 40% of grandfathers said they snuck into the CEO's office and said, "Mr. McKinley, sir, I'm your guy."
It just took gumption. You didn't need some fancy internship. Looking the boss dead in the eye and showing him you were a man. That was your internship.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, and you are here with us on New Year's Eve. We're live.
It's almost over, dude.
It is indeed almost over.
It's almost about to start.
And yet another beginning.
Another beginning. Yep.
Welcome to Free Talk Live. With you here tonight, it's Ian.
And Conan.
I think Johnson will be joining us at some point. We have stuff to talk about, including the shooting, the most recent shooting. This one at a church.
Correct.
Was stopped, apparently, by, was it church security?
It was the head of church security. So he actually had started up a team, and they went through some drills and whatnot, and this happens. So, but if you get your news from certain organizations, you probably never heard of this.
Well, we'll get into that. Plus, will the U.S. Postal Service be privatizing as soon as 2020? Of course, your thoughts about whatever you want to discuss are welcome. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And we have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms, which sound a lot better than regular phone lines, so you can call in on Discord over at discord.lrn.fm. It is a very nice chat server. So we're going to go right into your calls and thoughts here to start things out. Peter is actually already on the line with us, calling from California. Go ahead, Peter.
Hey, guys, I want to discuss a law that goes into effect tomorrow in California.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, wonderful.
I'm sure it's one of many. Go ahead.
It is. So they're going to be unable to public schools will be unable to suspend kids for willful defiance. And I've heard you guys talk in the past about how, private schools do better performance-wise than public schools, but this is just going to add to the problem. My wife, who's been a teacher for 16 years, currently is in the public school system, has also done private school. And she can tell you that not only are the parents a lot more involved in private school, but that they can pick and choose which kids to take. Problem kids, they kick them out.
Sure.
It's just going to make her job so much tougher.
Right.
And the issue I have with this is it takes away, say you have 2 bad apples in the class out of 30 kids. It takes away from the learning ability for 28 other kids in the classroom. And it really is unfair to those others. But tying the hands of the teachers where they can't suspend a child and send them home and let the parents worry about the education makes it really tough on the teachers.
Yeah, well, I mean, government schools suck, and so it's got to really suck working there in a lot of ways. I'm sure it's rewarding to try to help young people, and I'm sure that's the reason why most teachers get involved in that business. But, man, to be hamstrung by all the bureaucratic red tape and BS, that's really frustrating.
Now, the supporters of this bill, what is the reasoning behind this? Are they afraid of having these kids at home where they can do even more damage?
Well, the impression I got from what I've heard, we get a lot on the news here, is that they don't want to deny educational opportunities for every child. I think they're afraid of the children being suspended and missing out on days of education. I just see it as absolutely takes away for the opportunity for those 28, 29 other children to learn properly because they're having to chase the problem child around and disruptive. My wife will have 1 or 2 every year that will create so much havoc in the classroom that it takes away from the ability for the others to learn properly because it takes up a lot of time.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely not an uncommon critique. I mean, I guess what they're saying is, well, we're obligated to give these young people an education, so we got to do something. We might as well keep them here. Otherwise, they just got to put them somewhere else.
And in that case, you got the schools that are creating the safe rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Another agenda that also here in California, they're trying to go with the, what's the word I'm thinking of? Where they give the parents money, you send them to whatever private school you want.
Oh, a voucher?
But voucher system. But the problem I have with the voucher system, these problem kids will now be into the the private school system, and then they'll pass laws where the private schools can get rid of the problem kids. So you're still going to have the same issue.
It'd be a huge problem.
As long as it's taxpayer money that's going into these programs, you're always going to have an issue where parents are going to be fighting with each other on what they want their kids to be able to learn, to the programs that they go through, and they're going to be competing with other tax-paying parents. And the only way to fix all of this is to privatize completely, 100%.
To end government control over education, I would say would be the way to fix it. The word privatize, and we can get into that with the Postal Service a little bit later, usually confers the idea of government turning over some service they provide to one of their buddies. That's almost always what happens whenever you see the word privatize being used. So really just
Could I kick
go
in
ahead.
a little thing on charter schools, if you don't mind, real quick? The issues I've seen with the charters is you have, and this is also with privatizing the post office, anytime it's a private business, that business owner, and this happened in Los Angeles with a big charter school system, I don't know if they had 20 schools, business owner decided, I'm not making enough money, I'm closing my schools tomorrow. All of a sudden, 6,000 kids are out of an education, where the government will operate at a loss and keep the kids being educated. It's a vital
but the
service.
government education sucks. I mean, it's just awful.
And the fact that they're doing it at a loss, the fact that they're doing it at a loss proves that it's not a good formula.
Well, what you're presuming, Peter, is that you have to have some sort of central place for kids to go in order to get educated, and that's sort of like, that's the model that we all grew up with, so it's easy to presume that that's the way things ought to be. But the reality is, there's a thing called unschooling, and it seems to be pretty damned effective, where you just basically let a young person kind of teach themselves and learn the things that they want to learn.
For some kids.
Institutionalizing children is probably the dumbest thing.
Yeah, one of the better things I ever did in my life was dropped out as soon as I could.
Yeah.
And went out to the world and got a flavor and got a taste of what's really going on. Because
since the internet, there's absolutely no need for institutionalized schooling.
YouTube Academy, hands down, destroys anything I ever learned.
Doesn't Khan Academy put a bunch of free stuff online as well? Like
Khan
real
does,
courses?
MIT does.
Yeah,
so
Khan
if you
is an
want to just
actual
go through
school.
A college education, you could just go all the way.
Khan is an actual school, providing actual learning. But I'm saying YouTube.
I understand
learning
that.
how to,
Khan is
fix my
YouTube.
car, learn how to garden, learn how to all these things that people
it's
have put
all
on
there for everybody that wants to do it. I mean, there should be no obligation for people to be forced to subsidize people who don't want to be in school at a loss. Period. So,
okay, guys, you guys have a good night.
Hey, thanks for the call, Peter. I appreciate you bringing it up.
And the problem with this charter school going out of business, well, of course, because he's having to compete with public education, which are actually
charter
operating
schools
at a
are
loss.
funded by the government
at about and here in New Hampshire at about a third. So they're still providing a better education for a third of the cost of public education here in the state. So I mean, I don't agree with it, but it's hell's better than.
So
than
which
the school
do you think
system.
is a more government obfuscated parlance here? Privatize or deregulate?
Deregulate.
Boy, I mean, they're both.
So take out the option that you must receive an education, and I think that would fix. It's the same thing with drugs.
Yeah, but I feel like neither one actually means what you would think it would mean. Like privatize, it's going to be run by private, entities now. Deregulate, it's no longer going to be regulated. Neither one of those actually mean anything of the sort.
A lot of time, deregulation does remove a regulation, but usually, sometimes it adds regulations as well. So it's like more like re-regulation than anything else.
All right, how about remove?
Remove the government obligation to provide educational services.
How about decrapify? Because that's kind of like that's what it is with government. I mean,
sure. And as much government involvement in this as you possibly can, but that leaves you sounding like, well, you hate children. You don't like kids.
No, actually, like I said, one of the better things I ever did was I got out of the school, and I have been re-educating myself since. That's one of the better things. And a lot of my buddies who are living good lives now were the dumb kids.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, it's not that I hate children, it's just that I hate stupid children, so I don't want them to be in government schools anymore. Smart kids are great.
Yeah. Well, and the stupid ones, I think people are mostly ignorant than stupid. You got to have the right incentives to learn. And real life provides those incentives, in my opinion. Whereas just sitting in some room where you've been assigned to be by someone you don't know, meeting people who you have no real connection to in any way, shape, or form, besides the fact that you're the same age.
Learning knowledge that you will never use.
And for the most part, yeah. The toll-free... How long has it been since y'all wrote an essay? You know, the 3-part essay?
Well... yeah, go ahead.
855. I've not written one since school. 855, 450 free. How about some calculus?
How about all the skills you needed that they didn't teach you?
Exactly. It's Free Talk Live. Have you heard of LibertyCon? LibertyCon is not only a convention with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO and co-founder John Mackey and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith, but it's also unique because you get a chance to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations, one-on-one for the purpose of career advancement, business, and internship opportunities. April 3rd through 5th in Washington, D.C. You can learn more by visiting libertycon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on your registration. That's libertycon.com.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
Balance of nature, changing the world one life at a time.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. In my lab, I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. As a scientist, I know that balance of nature works.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we will take an additional 35% off of your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FTL.
The political world is a maddening cesspool of corruption and lies. Nobody tells the truth. Nobody keeps campaign promises. Nobody obeys the Constitution. Nobody puts the people first. How can we ever escape this web of tyranny? Vote for nobody.
Hi, my name is Nobody. I'm running for governor of New Hampshire because nobody knows how to live your life better than you do, and nobody deserves that kind of power. I want to put you back in control of your money, your lifestyle, your work, your body, and your life. Nobody should rule you but you. New Hampshire convicts many people of so-called crimes that should never have been prosecuted. If elected, I will pardon every victimless crime in New Hampshire history. This includes drug, gambling, prostitution, gun, and driving offenses. Nobody should have a criminal record when they have not harmed anybody.
Wouldn't it be nice to have nobody telling you what to do? Learn more at electnobody.com. electnobody.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
There are basically two types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Yeah!
Yep, it's Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm, so hop into one of those to get on the air here with us. Tonight, it's Ian.
And Johnson.
And Conan.
Liberty.menu. It's a tool for individuals who reject the initiation of force and agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. So if there's something you do that you'd like to advertise to the Liberty community, this is a great way to do it, and it's free. So there's really no reason not to, unless you don't want people to know that you care about freedom. So Liberty.menu is where you can go. You can use code FTL, and you will get a special Free Talk Live listener badge on your profile, because we can't give you a discount because it's free at Liberty.menu. You know, before we continue with the calls, I feel like the school topic deserves just a little bit more discussion. We had a gentleman call in. His wife works in the California government school system. There's a new change that they're going to be making, I guess, in 2020, where kids with a certain behavioral issue, I think the term was willful defiance, will not be suspended. They won't be removed from the schools.
Senate Bill 419 will make it illegal for public and charter schools to suspend students for willful defiance.
Yeah. And so, you know, he was pointing out it's going to make his wife's job more difficult, and we just generally talked about how poor government education or government schools are. But I think it's more important also to talk about, you know, what could be the solution here. I mean, we generally said get the government out of it, but that's not, you know, satisfying, I don't think, to
the question you should
people.
be asking is, why are these kids disrupting classes
They're
and
bored,
activities?
probably.
Yeah, they're bored out of their mind. They don't want to be there. They want to be doing something else. So maybe that should be the focus of your attentions, and not forcing them to be there when they don't want to be there.
So let me make an outlandish statement. I wonder if Californians will want to change this bill when their kids start getting killed.
What do you mean?
Okay, so my long-term vision for how this is going to work is that if the teachers aren't allowed to remove these students from their classes and from their school, what they're going to have to do in order to deal with that is they're going to have to call the cops.
The cops that are already stationed there?
Yeah, sure. So
Like
the
even
cops
here,
will show up and the cops will control the kids. So now what
And
you're going to
kill
get
them,
is, instead of corporal, because these schools can't have corporal punishment, right? Which I think that's a good thing, except for the fact that now what they do is they have police take adult measures, you know, which shouldn't even be used on an adult, tackling kids to the ground, tasing them, you know, kids, regardless of whether they have a heart condition or, you know, might be special in some way or another.
We've seen the video of them doing this to children as young as elementary school across the United States. So you're not even going out on a limb here. You're absolutely right. That's what's going to happen, and it's going to happen more often.
Yeah, it's going to happen. It'll probably be relatively fast that we start hearing about this.
By the way,
right after this legislation goes into place, it'll probably be a matter of months.
By the way, this does allow students to be continue to be suspended if there's weapon-related and or violent-related.
Right. Well, it'll certainly escalate to violence very quickly once these kids start getting attacked by police and see that, oh, it's okay for certain people to use violence.
Well, I mean, if
you're going to create a whole class of criminals, if you want to watch California's crime rate skyrocket, this is how you do it.
If you realize a lot of these schools are just the pipeline to jail, to the jail system. If you've ever been in one of these schools,
well, that's what they're designed to be.
Look like jails.
During the hours, just pristine. Every door is locked. You'd have to be rung in.
I would actually, if I were more interested in California and they're flushing themselves down the drain and how that's happening, I would actually love to see what kind of for-profit prison systems do you have in California. In other words, is there a tie there? Is there a money trace? Could there be some sort of link, like circular cycle here, where they're actually trying to build this circle so that they can get more people into prison, so that they can charge more money? And
I think that gives them too much credit.
I
mean, that's what happens.
I don't think it necessarily does give them credit. These things happen systematically.
Well, I mean, you have had these judges who have been working with the...
on purpose, not necessarily with intent. So in other words, because these things can happen, like it's sort of like a market, right? Market signals make things happen. So when you create a market for this, you have lots of individuals that will just drive towards something.
I mean, you're saying it's creating a market. What they're doing is they're just creating a prison. That's what these schools resemble, right?
What I'm
in
saying
so
is,
many ways.
If there's a private prison system where they make money off of prisoners, then there's a market for prisoners.
Sure.
and then you want to create more prisoners, so you're going to do everything you can to, if you're in that business, to create more people that are going to end up in prison so that you make more money.
Sure, but the private prison system doesn't run the government schools. So, I mean, there is a disconnect there.
No, but they do have people that they do have connections in government, and they do have ways of lobbying people, and they do have...
It's a conspiracy theory.
Sure.
I mean, that's what it is, and maybe you're right about that. But the reality of it is, whether it's intentional or not, is when you create a prison, which is what these schools are resembling more and more over time, then, well, surprise, you're going to get people acting like prisoners. You remember the old Stanford prison experiment, right? Where they took college students. This was, 40 years ago, 35,
yeah,
40
They've made 2 movies since.
Right. They put a bunch of college students into, a fake prison that was whatever building at some college at Stanford.
Right.
And they did not know which role they were going to have, whether it would be the guards or they would be the prisoners. They drew straws or whatever. So you can't say that the people who wanted to be the guards got to be the guards. And they just started acting like they were supposed to act.
They went right into their roles and just filled them.
It's crazy.
It's like they were born into them.
Yeah, it was crazy to the point where there was like abuse and things like that going on.
And they had to prematurely end the program because they were afraid that violence and bloodshed were going to... Actually, bloodshed was happening.
Well, Phil Zimbardo, who was the psychologist, the teacher that was behind this experiment, realized after his, I think, girlfriend or wife at the time, brought it to his attention, like, dude, you have fallen into your role as the prison administrator in this particular case. And he was kind of trapped into this whole bizarre episode.
Right.
So they've made prisons, schools are prisons basically. You've got the prison bus that takes you there. You've got the bells between classes. You've now got fences and barbed wire at a lot of schools, metal detectors. I mean, there's all kinds of like prison-esque things going on here. And in fact, where we were previously in Sarasota, Florida, the school I went to was actually designed by the guy who designed the county jail, or not county jail, but the city jail.
Right.
Seriously, it looks like a prison.
Yeah, the story from 2009, Mark Ciavarella and colleague Michael Conan appeared in federal court in Scranton, Pennsylvania, to plead guilty to wire fraud and income tax fraud for taking more than $2.6 million in kickbacks to send teenagers to 2 privately run youth detention centers run by PA Childcare and a sister company, Western PA Childcare. Both judges. Well, one was a judge and one was a prosecutor.
Oh yeah.
I always thought that was a Stephen King plot in the.
It's been that type of stuff.
And this is just
over.
this particular story because it happens.
There are dozens and dozens of those stories that's been happening all over the country, not just in Pennsylvania. And my thought is like, how long before these schools, are designed? Well, we need to have guard towers with snipers in them to protect the children from mass shootings.
They put up huge black metal barriers around the school I went to for high school, which was designed as an open campus.
Right.
It's not open anymore.
Right.
There's literally like huge, ridiculous black metal that is blocking any entrance to the campus.
And when the parents found out about it, they all cheered and hurrayed and said, yeah, this will keep our kids safe finally.
Next step is kids are going to have to wear dog collars that they can just press a button to put them down.
They already got their fingerprints when they get on the bus. So,
they need to have a dog collar so that they can just tase them.
And actually, there's
a button.
That is a story that's taking place right now where colleges are doing this.
I know. We talked about it
Bluetooth
on Free Talk Live. There's more coming up here at 8:55, 450 free. Join us.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McElvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free to bring up whatever you want here. The live New Year's Eve edition of the program. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And the Discord call-in line rooms are open and available to you on our Discord server at discord.lrn.fm. The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to spend, earn, store, and exchange digital money in seconds. Divvy says you'll be able to send money around the globe in only a swipe and instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat currency right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. There's no need to wait, though, as Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with their multi-tiered masternodes, allowing anyone to earn by supporting the Divvy network. When the new Divvy wallet launches, because of Divvy's relationship with Western Union, Divvy will be in 200 countries, including the United States. You can learn more at divvyproject.org. That's divvyproject.org. Let's go back to your calls and thoughts here. Larry is in Indianapolis. You're on Free Talk Live. Happy New Year, Larry. Go ahead.
Happy New Year. As you know, you talk about schools and charter schools at any school now. What they are is junkie factories. The state of California is only creating a laboratory out there to triage their kids. When they say you can't throw a child out of school for misbehavior, what that's leading them to is say, we're going to have you, young man, where your parents can't drop you off here or you can't get on the bus until you take this pill. This pill costs $120. So you take that before you come to school, and then we have a special room for you to sit around in all day and slobber. and nod out and sleep. So that's how they will accomplish that. When you look at most of the systems that are set up here in my state, I said about 10 years ago that I seen the legislation and the statutory schemes coming through our legislature to turn our schools, the whole system, into junkie factories.
You know, you really touch on something that's important here, Larry, and I just want to point out that, I think it comes back to what we were talking about a couple weeks ago with Brave New World, where people are getting doped up by the state. And this has been long a problem at state schools is, you got some kid that's a problem, he's causing too many issues, put him on some drugs.
Yeah, but it's not even that. These schools are incentivized by Big Pharma to get as many kids as possible on these pills because they get the kickback. Big Pharma.
Really?
Go ahead.
It's only more prevalent in voucher schools. Even the Catholic schools here, they get the most diagnoses put on their kids as they can because it happened to my grandson.
Really?
My daughter wasn't watching him so much, and they had him diagnosed with ADHD, Asperger's, and all kind of funny diseases, and he could not go to school until he took his tablet every morning. I mean, they are desperate for money, because their parishioners are not got any money, so they got to do it any way they can. What they've done is they, I know here, I won't mention my city, but you know where I'm calling from. They are putting charter schools in the downtown area in a convention city, right? In abandoned places where retail have moved out, and they have these kids down there all day where they can see things they can't afford, and teenagers who are drug addicted, right? And so what ends up happening is teen prostitution goes up 145% according to the police records. And what's happening is they give the kid a bus pass where he can go anywhere in town, so all they do is set their tricks up on their iPhone and take a bus to meet their tricks. So that's what's going on. I mean, you laugh, but I don't think it's very funny when that's happening. And that's what is happening.
Yeah, well, you put a bunch of people together into a place where they don't want to be, and guess what? There's going to be all kinds of, unintended consequences. Thank you, Larry, for the call tonight. I appreciate it. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom.
Wow, that did not take long.
What didn't?
So I did a Google search about my little conspiracy theory, and immediately...
Which is what? Recap that?
About... schools being linked to the prison industry.
A pipeline, basically.
That they're building a pipeline.
Prisoners.
And immediately I found this article from June of 2004 from the Rolling Stone, of all places, talking about 5 links between higher education and the prison industry. And let me just read a paragraph from this article. It says here, American universities do a fine job of selling themselves as pathways to opportunity and knowledge, but follow the traffic and money policies through these academic institutions. And you'll often wind up at the barbed wire gates of Corrections Corporation of America, CCA, and Geo Group, the 2 largest private prison operators in the United States. In the last 2 decades, the private prison industry has exploded, growing 784% at the federal level and helping the United States to achieve the highest incarceration rate in the world. Right. CCA operates 69 facilities throughout the United States. GEO operates 55. Both typically mandate that up to 90% of their beds are filled at all times. So they have quotas.
Yeah.
And in the last 2 years, CCA has defended itself against charges of fraudulent understaffing of its facilities, medical neglect, and abuse of inmates. Let me just add that also in a search, as I found this article on my way here, I found out that the prisons in California, there are private prisons in California, and they are in fact run by the Geo Group. And I'm sure that this article goes even further to talk about how the applications process at some of these colleges and some of these schools.
Yeah, I'm curious to know what the connection is. Obviously, you just found this while you were sitting there.
And it's from 2014, so it's a little out of date.
Well, that's not that out of date. I mean, if the connections were there in 2014, they're probably still there or worse today. So curious to know what those are. But let's go and continue with your calls and thoughts. We got Andrew. He's on the line watching on YouTube. Go ahead, Andrew.
Hey, how are you guys doing tonight? I just found the show. It's pretty cool.
Welcome, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to talk. Yeah, I'm a libertarian, but the one thing that gets on my nerves probably the most is these Democrats and them trying to get rid of the Electoral College.
Okay.
I would agree with that.
And when I was a Democrat in 2004, I remember that election. If John Kerry would have won Ohio, he would have lost the popular vote, and he would have only won 20 states, but he still would have won the election. And I would have been celebrating that. and so would the Democrats, but just the hypocrisy of that just gets on my nerves so much.
What changed for you? You said you were a Democrat. You now consider yourself a libertarian. What happened?
Ron Paul. I remember watching those 2008 Republican debates.
Those are always
who is this guy?
Those are always really good to rewatch. Those are they're terrific.
Oh, they're amazing. No one talked like him. I couldn't believe what I was listening to.
So Ron Paul gets another one, man. He's got a bunch of people chalked up under his efforts. He's done a lot of good work. So, Andrew, I mean, there's no doubt that it probably should stick around if you're going to have a federal government. But, I mean, really, aren't we just talking about rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic here? I mean, would we really be that much worse off if John Kerry had won instead of, George Bush?
It wouldn't have mattered.
Right.
I understand. Yeah. Because I voted Obama 08. I was still a liberal. 2012, I voted Gary Johnson, and I voted for Trump 2016 because I lived in Ohio, and I hated Hillary so much. I'm just like, if it comes down to Ohio, I just got to vote for Trump.
What about Uncle Joe, the front runner now, right?
I actually will vote in the Democrat primary for Yang because he's the least of the. At least he's smart.
Yang.
Not Uncle Joe. The kid sniffer.
A story about Joe. He was getting just in one of the local towns here in New Hampshire. The dissidents were in the room and calling him pervert and calling him kid sniffer, and asking him about the Ukraine money.
That's so funny.
I absolutely recommend anybody who's going to be voting in the Democratic primary to go to joebiden.info. Old Joe 2020. Fantastic website if you want to learn a little bit more about the front-running party member for the for the Democrats.
That poor guy.
No, you won't feel sorry for him after you go to that website.
That is just senior abuse. They need to let him go out to pasture.
What is he like? He's 76, I think, right?
They're all old. They're all in that age category.
They're seniors.
Not Tulsi.
Oh, Tulsi, yeah, but she's not going anywhere.
They won't even put her in the debate anymore. Yeah. They won't even put her in the debate.
But Warren. She's up in that.
Tulsi's going great. She's got that 101 Dalmatians streak in her hair.
Hey, Andrew, thanks for the call tonight, man. I appreciate hearing from you. Welcome to the program. Glad to have you. Toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Of course, you can bring up whatever's on your mind.
Honestly, I feel like Tulsi's the only one that even approaches sane out of the Democratic side. I mean, it's like...
She's somewhat anti-war.
Somewhat anti-war, and that's about it. That's like one of the few positive things you can say about her.
There's more coming up here. 855-450-FREE. You can join us on the radio. This is Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Jake was in big trouble with the IRS. He owed how much?
$92,000.
Ouch. And the IRS left no room for Jake to breathe.
They put a lien on my house, took all the money out of my bank account, took money out of my paychecks. So it was a nightmare.
He needed help fast.
I figured that all these companies were the same until I called Federal Tax Management. You could just tell they knew what they were talking about. Right then and there, I felt like I had some hope.
Stop the liens, levies, and garnishments fast and qualify for one of several special IRS programs that could reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. So, how'd it go for Jake?
They did what they said they would do. They came through for me. I ended up saving an unbelievable amount. I was so jazzed. I was extremely happy.
If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes, take Jake's advice.
Give Federal Tax Management a phone call. If they help me, they can help anybody.
Call the Federal Tax Management Hotline now. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, the live New Year's Eve edition. You may take control of the airwaves here. Our number for you is 855-450-FREE. By the way, I want to say thanks to Nehor, N-E-H-O-R, Nehor? I'm not sure how you pronounce that. But anyway, thanks for listening and thanks for amping the show. Nehor is a silver amplifier, which means he or she is contributing $5 per month to the Free Talk Live AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. The idea is you can help us get these ideas of liberty and freedom and peace into more ears around the United States. We have over 200 radio stations that air this show at various times throughout the week, and you can help us get to 300. Just $5 a month, you get some cool perks. You can learn about all of that over at amp.freetalklive.com, ampamp.freetalklive.com. We haven't really even gotten into the story about the shooting. And I want to do that, Conan. So, we ended up talking about schools and how schools are, seem like this pipeline to the prison system, whether that's an intentional thing or not. It definitely seems to be the way things are going. Schools becoming more and more prison-like over time.
Drugged.
Doping up the students.
Straight up Brave New World going on.
Yeah, it's really crazy. And I've been looking at this article about the school that I went to when I was in Florida that's put up just Orwellian, creepy metal gates all over the place in what used to be a very open campus that was supposedly designed for openness. And when the original architect found out about this is an article about the architecture behind the school. It was supposed to be this sort of open campus with different buildings. Students would walk between the buildings and such. And the architect said, I had to sit down. This was a total violation and contradiction of the original concept in a democracy, which none of us are really a fan of. But regardless, he says, education is all about freedom, opening up yourself to new ideas, new people, and new choices. That was the essence of Thomas Jefferson's original vision for the University of Virginia. I tried to reflect that in my vision for this campus. Now, in effect, they put the kids in a prison. It defeats the whole purpose.
And don't forget the subconscious effect on these poor kids when they're
this is their life.
They're living this. They're living inside
8 hours a day
jail cells,
right?
Being forced to listen to nonsense that they're probably not interested in, being having to raise their hand to go use the bathroom or to speak, standing in line all day. It's just they're picking up on this. And so when they get out, when they finally graduate and they go into the new world, what do you think they know? What do you think they understand?
Do what you're told. Be quiet when the lights turn out.
Now, the sad part about this is, bringing up Brave New World again, there are a lot of architects out there who love this. This is what they want. They don't want free thinkers.
Sure.
They want button pushers. They want desk jockeys.
That's what the school system's always been designed to do, right?
Yeah.
The Prussian system.
Correct. And the Common Core took it to the next level. It's
getting worse.
It's all about creating desk jockeys for businesses. It's not about, being fulfilled in life and going out and fulfilling your dreams and participating and being a part of this life. It's all about making money for someone. It's horrible. It really is. And even if they're not going to real jail, they are in essence going to some sort of jail. Sitting behind a desk with their student debt and their house debt.
Oh, that's even worse. A whole other aspect of it.
Yeah, we're all prisoners. We're all slaves to this system.
Brett Venat has one of the best from the School Sucks project. He has one of the best videos on the Prussian education system that I've ever seen. It's I think School Sucks project.
I think it's probably one of his probably heavily visited YouTube videos.
I think it's a video from like 2014 or something like that. But he made this 2-part series on the Prussian education system and how it was developed, how it got implemented in the United States, and it's essentially there's very, very strong ties to one, socialism, two, Nazis, and that's how our school system got developed. And
well, it's not Nazism when we do it,
right? Whoa, okay, because it certainly looks like they're building camps.
It's creepy, man. Super creepy. And it has been getting worse over time. I mean, it was bad when we were going through it, but not as bad as it is now.
All in the name of we have to have these schools because otherwise poor people wouldn't be educated.
Yeah, going back to your knowing how to write, at least we know the intro body and conclusion of an essay. I'm not sure how many of these snowflakes understand any of that. They know how to text. Right. They know how to post Instagram photos of themselves, but
well, yeah, and
it's
that was
such nonsense too that the poor people wouldn't get an education. I mean, it's like laughably, like if you believe that, I have a bridge in Brooklyn that I can sell you. You needed to go to school if you believe that nonsense.
Well, and that was what the caller who'd called earlier in the hour had sort of brought up was, well, we still need the government schools because they'll operate at a loss to make sure that poor people can get an education. And it's like, yeah, look, if people care about education, and they do, then poor people will get an education through generosity, through scholarships, through churches, through organizations who value education and want to put their money into it to help these people, through even companies who, may be looking to educate the next set of workers. There's a bunch of different ways that this can happen, and none of it has to have a gun to anybody's head, which is how the government system is funded. If you don't pay for the government schools, they're going to take your house from you.
And no one said it was going to be easy. And you hear these stories, these rags to riches stories all the time, where you have some parents who are bending over backwards to make sure their kids got a good education and making sure they're going to the right school, and some parents just don't give a damn, but some really do, and they'll make it happen. They'll figure out a way. And I'll go back to my premise: you're always going to have dumb people. You're always going to have rich and poor people. You're always going to have smart and dumb people. It's just a fact of life.
Sure.
You can't socialize. You can't centrally plan this to fix it. It's not possible.
And violence, the violence that backs these state programs, doesn't make anything better. It doesn't provide a good education. These schools are just barely adequate as far as what they can get done for the money that they spend. If we actually had a marketplace in education where you had a variety of choices out there, from everything from the unschool, where the child sort of directs their own learning,
to vocational schools,
to the most strict kind of obedience military academies, right? Like the whole range would exist, and they would all be cheaper than what the government schools, for the most part,
providing better product.
Yeah,
for cheaper.
Exactly. And it's funny, I've called the local talk show in the past here. There's like a local kind of issue show
that guy loves the school system here.
Well, I'm talking about going even further back, where there was an old lady that hosted a show here, sort of like the local show where they talk about issues and whatever. And I would bring up these points about getting the government out of education and market-based education, and how we don't need to have a one-size-fits-all centrally planned monopoly education service. And the lady that hosted the show had told me on more than one occasion when I brought up whatever points I was bringing up, it's like, oh, yeah, that sounds great, but we can't do that. You know, like she didn't say it was a bad idea. She just didn't believe it was possible.
Right.
And here's another thing. At least this is a thought that rattles around. This is the type of thought that makes people hate me. So the other thing that I think about this is that, you know, this governmentalized school system that we've got has created so many dumb teachers, right? So we have this like whole class of teachers that themselves are failure type people that are just not very good at what they do, and they teach, and they're not very good teachers and not very smart people in general. And what they really don't realize is that if we had schools that competed in a marketplace, unlike the one size fits all nationalized garbage that we have now, it would fix the problem that they've been complaining about for decades.
Yeah, you know, one of the answers to this?
That problem is
terrible
their
teachers.
salaries.
Yeah.
No, not just terrible teachers. They would fix the terrible teachers too, because the teachers would have to compete for jobs, because you'd get a scale of teachers, right? You'd have better teachers at better schools because the schools themselves would get better and worse, because there would be competition. And in that competition, you would also have a variance in teacher salaries. And that direction would likely go dramatically up.
You think?
Yeah, I do.
Here's what you would get, Johnson. You would get what like they have in Japan, where they have these online instructors who are damn millionaires.
Yeah.
They're superstars.
Yeah.
Everyone wants this guy, this math teacher or this English teacher, and he's teaching thousands of
Society
students.
values education a lot, and the government does a bad job at everything it does. And typically when you take something out of the hands of government, it only goes up, right? I mean, think about what happened to the computer industry if we put computers into government hands.
As long as it's not like what Ian brought up at the beginning of the hour, where it's private, that type of privatization where it's just your government cronies who are getting the jobs,
right?
Because it's still regulated, where you have to force kids to learn for 12 years of their lives.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see how it played out, because, I mean, certainly open competition where there's no restrictions in a marketplace drives price down. So that would suggest that the price of education would go down overall, because they were paying less overall for their overhead, and the quality would go up. So the teachers would be happier, even though they might not be being paid as much.
It would
There's
probably
more coming
be
up.
happening in an
Hold that
unpredictable
thought.
way.
We got hour 2 on the way. This is Free Talk Live.
Business owners, you want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. There's people all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale, totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
Free Talk Live is now on more than 200 radio stations nationwide. We've had more than 18 million podcast downloads, and we claim millions of listens a month. We're a multimedia ad venue with print, email, web, and terrestrial radio marketing platforms. We strive to have ad packages that cater to advertisers big and small. Contact me today at marketfreetalklive.com to see what we can do for you. Marketfreetalklive.com. If you're a local advertiser, contact this station. But if you can service a national audience, contact me, marketfreetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,515. Silver at $17.92. And Bitcoin is trading around $7,243. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, Iraqi Prime Minister Adel Abdul Mahdi on Sunday accused the Trump administration of violating his nation's sovereignty and further heightening tensions in the region after the U.S. bombed several targets in Iraq and Syria, killing at least 25 fighters and injuring dozens more. The Pentagon claimed the airstrikes, which U.S. President Donald Trump approved late Saturday, were a defensive response to a rocket attack on an Iraqi military base last week that killed an American contractor. The U.S. blamed the Kataib Hezbollah militia for the attack and pointed fingers at Iran, which the Trump administration said is funding and arming the group. Kataib Hezbollah quickly vowed retaliatory action, saying the Trump administration's actions have left it with no choice but confrontation. An Iraqi militia group allied with Kataib Hezbollah said it's their duty to put an end to the U.S. military presence in Iraq through every legitimate method. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. On Thursday, Assistant Porham, Oklahoma Police Chief David Ray Cash was arrested and charged for crimes associated with the sexual assault of two small children, a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old. In this case, one of the victims actually called 911 to report the abuse in progress. The Free Thought Project, citing the Muskogee County Sheriff's Office, says that deputies responded to a 911 call on December 19th. The caller, reportedly one of the victims, told dispatch that the 49-year-old Cash was sexually assaulting them, according to an affidavit filed with the case. The Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation conducted a sexual assault nurse examination, which found injuries to one of the children were consistent with child sexual abuse. While he was detained during interviews, the assistant chief confessed to sexually assaulting the two children on multiple occasions between September and December. According to a 36-count grand jury indictment, a Seattle company used a hidden drain to dump a highly corrosive chemical solution directly into the sewer system. The Mind Unleashed reports inside the sewer, a robot's camera recorded a white stain of unknown origin. And according to a federal indictment handed down earlier this month, federal agents executed a search warrant after real-time monitoring equipment they installed indicated an unusual spike in the water's pH. During the search, a portable pump covered in a high pH liquid and a hidden drain that had never been disclosed were both discovered. It turns out that both the company's owner and manager of the plant, who happen to be cousins, have been lying to regulators since at least 2009, according to the indictment. The scheme was discovered in 2018. The Seattle Barrel and Cooperage Company collects used 55-gallon industrial drums and resells them after undergoing a reconditioning process. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
This is the Onion Week in Review. According to friends, colleagues, and complete strangers, anxiety-ridden man Timothy Gibbula is rightly ashamed of every single thing he does, with mere acquaintances saying they're constantly judging Gibbula at every moment, just as he suspects.
Tim's the kind of guy who's forever second-guessing his behavior, as if everyone's constantly scrutinizing him, and he's completely correct. We all are.
We can spend entire afternoons picking apart Tim's taste in clothing and his receding hairline. It's honestly all we do when he's not around.
Anytime he awkwardly says excuse me when he's waiting in line for milk or sugar, anytime he fails to make eye contact with me when he asks me for the Wi-Fi password. Not only do I notice these things, but I use them to judge him fundamentally as a human being.
A 3-alarm fire that tore through a family home in Newark, Delaware early Saturday morning tragically claimed a half sleeve of Oreo cookies that were trapped inside a cupboard. At the time of the blaze, the residence was occupied by Mike and Sheila Donlan, their 3 young children, and 6 delicious chocolate sandwich cookies, all half dozen of which perished in the intense heat and towering flames.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, and it is the live New Year's Eve edition of the show. Welcome to it. With you here in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Johnson.
And Conan.
If you're just tuning in, we've been talking a lot about government schools. We haven't gotten to the shooting story yet, Conan, but we ended up going on to this whole discussion about how awful the current system is, how much worse it is than even when we were growing up just a few decades ago. And it just keeps getting worse, more militarized, more police state, more prison-like, and it's super creepy. The Prussian school system, as we mentioned in the last segment, which is how this system is designed. The Prussian system is designed to create the worker bee. They're designed to create the unquestioning class of person who goes to work.
A worker bee who will stand in line while shots are being fired at him and not run.
Pays taxes. Does what they're told. And we're going to continue with that discussion because, Johnson, you had an answer to the question of teacher salary. There was some discussion of, well, would it go up? Would it go down? Would it do both?
Right.
So hold that thought. We're going to get into that. I made a note so we wouldn't forget it. Okay. And then Jordan is on the line to start things out here in California, watching on YouTube. Go ahead, Jordan. What's on your mind tonight? Hello? Jordan in California? Nope, you can't say that on the radio. And you were not on the radio, sir, at all. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. I don't think he would have had much else to say after that one.
No, not creative at all.
Nope, pretty weak. All right, so let's see here. So teacher salary. So the question was, if we got rid of the state involvement in education and actually had a marketplace, an open free market in education where you could get whatever kind of education you wanted, right, a range of prices available and options, and you thought that...
I thought the teacher salaries should dramatically go up. Conan made the point of how teacher salaries are affected in Japan and
China.
China. They're superstars over there in
where
terms
these
of
teachers are teaching online and they have like a line of people.
Hundreds of students at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's sort of like, again, it breaks that traditional teaching model. I think the traditional, like if the schools were not... Again, these institutionalized government, one-size-fits-all, silly, awful, programs put in place by government, that you would have all sorts of creativity. Besides just teaching online and having online classes, there would probably be all sorts of different form factors where you could maybe have teachers who are also programmers, mm-hmm, who, make... some sort of educational programs that you can download and go through, or download, segments of education, like how a lot of people are learning online now through
for free
Udemy, or what are some of the other online course companies?
Khan Academy. There's a lot of them are free. Others, I'm sure, are very, very low cost.
Skillshare, I think, has been an advertiser.
So again,
right?
that suggests that I don't recall that, but maybe that suggests that the price will go down of education to the end user. I mean, maybe on one hand, you can have some sort of superstar teacher.
Wasn't there some sort of crypto-based skill economy kind of thing that was an advertiser with Free Talk Live?
I think we had something like that at one point.
Yeah, it was like a crypto, like it was like a, you share your stuff and then you could trade it for crypto or trade it for different courses or something like that.
And another thing you would get right off the bat, you'd get a lot more companies stepping up to the plate and offering to educate their new employees, or their new workforce,
right?
And educate them in things that they need in order to succeed. And it kind of goes back into the worker drone analogy. But
the objection to that, though,
but it would be the companies paying for it,
and I can tell you,
because they would actually be providing. I want
to object to this one here. Play the devil's advocate. The objection would be, well, we need to have the government schools or some other kind of schools, because those are just company schools. Those are going to be the corporate schools. They're not going to teach you music. They're not going to teach you, art. They're just going to turn you into a factory worker.
Some people are not into art.
Let them not be.
Exactly. Let them not
force it down their throat.
But then you'll have those who are arguing that we have to force a well-rounded education on every kid because they don't know what they want when they're 8 or they're 10.
I had made a comment off the air that I was wishing that I had an article for prep for tonight that was about the technology that we were supposed to have by now, like flying cars
and
hoverboards or pneumatic tube transport like on the Jetsons or something like that. And I found an article that I just skimmed lightning fast that was about possible technologies that could be available by 2026.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that it mentioned was a cryptocurrency, I guess, that exists now or is in development called EduBlocks.
EduBlocks,
which is apparently some sort of education-based cryptocurrency that's about, could be growing, and it's not necessarily a currency as in the way of monetary value, but is something for.
Is it like a merit system where you get education credits?
I don't know exactly how it works, but it was mentioned, and I'm like, well, maybe you'd have some sort of completely disruptive solution like this. I don't know.
You spent 20 hours in school this week. You get 100 credits to go spend on whatever.
Clearly, somebody who was writing this article was excited about it, so maybe that's something.
Let's continue here. Your calls and thoughts are welcome. We're going to go to Joe in Virginia, watching on YouTube. Go ahead, Joe.
Hail Hitler. How are you?
All right. Well, you know what? I thought for a minute it was going to be worse than that, so I'm kind of going to apologize for that dump, but I'm also getting pretty tired of the lame-ass crap. So 855-450-FREE, that's the toll-free number here. You can bring up whatever you want. If you're going to be hailing out to government murderers over time, that's not really
You get less than 14.88 seconds on the air.
Yeah, there you go. But as far as the teacher salary, I want to get a little further into that. Maybe there could be the superstar teachers who get paid more because they're
they're
the hard hitters of the industry. But then there's also still going to be, the not so superstar teachers.
The babysitters.
If you look at today, well, no, because it'll be better than that. Because the quality goes up with competition. So you're not talking about babysitters. You're talking about people who you'd want to send your kids to.
Yeah, correct. But you're always going to want. So say you have superstar teachers, but they're online or distance learning, and so you'll have your classroom set up. If you're not doing this at your home, so maybe it's more like an academy, and you'll want to have attendants who are keeping a little bit of order, keeping kids from not paying attention to their online instructors. So they get paid a lot less because they're not actually teaching anything, but they're keeping the class in order. So attendants, babysitters.
Could be. Yeah, who knows how it would end up working out. I do know that what I've heard at least today, where the market's all thrown off and out of whack by the government system, which has 85% of students or something like that, some large number. If you do look at teacher salaries at the private schools, from what I understand, they are lower than the government school counterparts. They don't get the same amount of salary, they don't get the same amount of benefits or whatever. But if you talk to private school teachers over time, I've talked to them on this show and in real life, they like it better. So they actually don't mind having a lower salary because they're dealing with a class full of students that's a better class of students, people that are there that want to actually learn for the most part, and they have more leeway to create the course that they want to create, right? Because if you're a teacher at a government school, well, you get all these mandates coming down from the federal government, from the state government, telling you got to do X, Y, and Z.
There's a lot more work involved with having to deal with the curriculum that's being
that's always changing every single year on how you
politically too
on how you teach a kid how to learn how to take tests.
Yeah,
because that's what they're basically teaching you. Oh, and by the way, always select C. Bubble in C if you don't know the other, because C is always statistically going to be more likely to be right than the others.
Is that true?
Yes, or it used to be. No, I had teachers and they were like, "All right, if you don't know, always select C."
Oh my God,
That's what I learned in school.
Wow.
I was taught that as well.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So
when I was in public school, I was taught that in middle school. So I know that because I was not taught that.
And that's because
in high school.
They get money based on testing results, right?
Yep.
From the state. Isn't that the reason why they teach to the test, so to speak, as it's been called?
Yep.
That's what I've heard.
There are, and it's also has to do with their A+ status. They want to have that.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not like the failing schools don't get money too. Like anyway, you slice it with the government, you keep getting more and more money.
Yeah, all the failing schools become the magnet schools. They get all the special programs.
We got more coming up here. If you want to join us, you can. Let's get into the church shooting. I think we've hammered education pretty good here, covering all aspects of it. If you want to comment, though, you're welcome to join us. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. If you start your call by shouting, it's not going to go very well for you. Okay. Just saying that to the Nazi callers from tonight. They've been calling for a week. It's been ridiculous.
She seems happier. Her fur is so much shinier, silkier, softer. She has really mellowed a lot.
Sheba is 105 lean pounds of shiny, smooth, happy dog for life.
The shedding has stopped. The itching has stopped.
Since 2001, we've helped more than 250,000 dogs get over their nutritional deficiency miseries.
And saved our customers bazillions in vet bills.
Everything we tried failed except the Dinovite.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
The omega-3 fatty acids, flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Dinovite is nutrition.
Dinovite for life.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app. The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us toll-free on this New Year's Eve edition. And yes, we are here live. Joining you in the studio tonight is Ian.
And Johnson.
And Conan.
The number for you is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And good nutrition is key to looking and feeling great, but eating right all the time can be a challenge. Our travel and work schedules certainly get in the way, or maybe you just don't have the desire or the time to shop and cook the right foods. Balance of Nature can help you. They've got their Balance of Nature fruit capsules. With 3 of them and 3 of their veggie capsules, you get 10 servings of fruits and vegetables, and that's a lot of nutrition. You can go online to become a preferred customer, which gives you the best pricing and free shipping, and then after your 3rd month, Balance of Nature will ship to you at no charge an additional set of fruits and veggies. You can go to balanceofnature.com, use code FTL to get that offer. That's balanceofnature.com with code FTL. Now, you can bring up anything that you want. Coming up here, we do have this shooting. I keep wanting to say school shooting, but it wasn't a school shooting. It was a church shooting.
These happen a lot, too.
They have happened a few times, at least in the last several years.
Anywhere where people congregate, movie theaters, churches, schools. So it seemed to be where people like to go. And a lot of times you would think that, who usually participates in church? I've saw some comments on some Facebook, some snide Facebook comments that Christians are supposed to be pacifists, and how dare they bring guns?
I don't know what percentage of Christians believe themselves to be pacifists. I don't think it's a very large percentage.
Maybe not Christians, but maybe Buddhists and whatnot. There are certain churches out there where they are frequented by
the Quakers are pacifists, and they are kind of Christy. So, I mean, I'm not saying there aren't Christians who are not pacifists, but by and large, like, Christians worship the military and the state in the United States. So, I mean, by no means are these
some of them
pacifistic
do, yeah.
people.
And the biggest take from this is a Texas church. So, I mean, if you're going to have you could have any Christians who are not going to be pacifists and are going to be gun wielders.
This is a good place to find some gun owners.
It's going to be in Texas, yeah.
Yeah, whoever it was that did this didn't think
too
hard.
He did not think this through, unless it was planned suicide.
Yeah,
which I'm thinking it might have been.
Maybe. A lot of people, it seems like, at least in their manifestos and such about these shootings,
which we haven't gotten from this guy yet.
Yeah.
And by the way, when they don't have these manifestos, I immediately think that it's actually real. It's actually a real person. This wasn't something that was formulated. This is actually something that really went down. It was a crazed person who I think was planning his own suicide, and he went into this church with that in mind.
Well, let's get into the story here in just a moment, but first we'll talk to Cherie on the line in California. Hello, Cherie.
Hi.
Hi, you're on the air.
Oh, okay, so I just had a question about the militant style of teaching, but that's actually changing. They're not wanting you to teach that way anymore.
The militant
so in a classroom, you're talking about just sitting at your desk, right? Like whole group type thing.
You talk about like the obedient style of education where, you speak when spoken to. If the lights go off, you stop talking.
Yeah, that's really changing. That's really not being asked. They're not wanting to see that in classrooms anymore.
Really? How do you know?
Are you talking
about public schools?
Public schools or private and charter schools? Because I would agree with you that there are some charter schools who are moving towards the unschooling method, where you just have a big open room.
Montessori, for example.
And you have different aged kids in the same room.
Say again? I'm sorry, you broke up there.
Montessori would be a little bit too far, but I do teach in public school, and my kids are moving all over the classroom.
What grade?
I mean, I teach, right now I'm teaching second, but I've taught all the way up to middle school.
Okay, well, that's interesting.
And even my middle schoolers are moving around.
So when you're
not being forced into a curriculum by government kind of top down. You have to teach this.
You know what? You do have to hit whatever standards, they've set up.
Right.
But depending on your school district, you don't have to necessarily only use what the school district has acquired. So you do have options. You have to show that you've used it, but you also have to show that you have used other things that are out there. So you have a lot of more mobility. I mean, when I went to school, it was, you sit down and that's what you did.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm 50 now, so I went through, you sit down, and that was it.
How many years have you been teaching?
Now you can do a lot of other things. A very long time.
One of the callers earlier brought up Senate Bill 419, which would make it illegal to suspend kids. What do you think about that? And do you have problem kids at your school?
You have problem kids, but again, you're not really, kids don't necessarily get suspended for disruption. It's more that they're more violent that they get suspended.
Mm-hmm. So according to the caller, this bill would make it so that so-called willful defiance would no longer be a suspendable behavior.
I guess it would just depend on the willful part. I mean, you do a lot to handle things in your classroom, and hopefully you can do that. But you might have kids that are just cussing up and down. I looking at you and just cussing, and they're disrupting everybody else from what they want to do.
Yeah, it doesn't say that they can't be removed from the class.
So a lot of times, yeah.
It just says they can't be suspended.
I think it just depends on more what they're doing. A lot of times when they're at that point and they're cussing and things, they do tend to get more violent.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times not everyone has a good home life. You have a lot of things that go into a classroom, because kids, they take everything with them. If they don't have a home life that's really good and steady, it's going to show in their at school, because that's where they spend their time.
What is it that you would make better, Cherie, about your job? What is it that you'd like to see improved?
I think a little bit still more choices.
More choices, meaning for you as a teacher?
Choices. Yeah, a little bit more choices.
Mm-hmm.
But be honest, if you don't have schools, a lot of kids won't go. A lot of poor. I work in a Title I school, so there's a lot of students that instead of going to school, they'd be working.
Is that necessarily worse?
The schools weren't there. That is,
Why?
I mean, every child should have that ability to progress as far as they could. Now, if you have a choice and you want to do something else, I mean, that's fine. That's not a big deal. But make it when you're older and you have a little bit more exposure.
But what if education was built into working, and that was something that didn't stop? So, for example, if you don't have the opportunity to learn, that's kind of where the problem that we've got across the board now is that society and technology is advancing fast, and as adults, we don't have the opportunity to educate ourselves anymore because of time constraints, right? So what if there was education built into the workplace to a certain extent?
That's good. I know some do that, actually, like I'm continuously going to school because I have to be.
Everywhere I've been where there's been opportunity to further your education, no one takes it up. Sherry, are you underpaid?
Hold that thought. If you want to continue with Sherry, we can bring her back here if she's got time. I don't know if she does, but we'll continue. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We have Sherry on the line. She is a teacher at a government school.
In California.
And more coming up. You can join us on this live New Year's Eve edition of Free Talk Live. Have you heard of LibertyCon? LibertyCon is not only a convention with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO and co-founder John Mackey and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith, but it's also unique because you get a chance to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations, one-on-one for the purpose of career advancement, business, and internship opportunities. April 3rd through 5th in Washington, D.C. You can learn more by visiting libertycon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on your registration. That's libertycon.com. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Live video of our Keene, New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, the New Year's Eve edition. We're here live. You can take control of the airwaves. You can bring up anything that you want. And I want to remind you that ForkFest 2020, the fourth ForkFest, is going to be happening in the summertime. It'll be actually about the second weekend of summer, starting June 29th until July 5th. That means it will include Independence Day for the very first time ever, because in 2020, ForkFest will follow the Porcupine Freedom Festival. Previously, it had come before the Porcupine Freedom Festival, which is going to be a good change, I think, in a lot of ways. One, it's going to be a little later it's going to be actually in the summer instead of the last week of spring.
Is that going to be your marketing? Is it going to include Fourth for the Fourth?
Actually, you should rename it too, just for this year. Rename it Fourth Fest.
You could do that.
I'm not going.
Why not?
I have good work.
Oh,
I've got animals, and I got animals to feed.
Yeah. You can hire people to do animal feedings.
I don't like middlemen.
How long has it been since you've been up there, Conan?
2000, I don't know, 4 or 5
like
years.
A decade. Oh, really? 4 or 5 years is not bad, I guess.
Yeah. No, but I've never been to Fork Fest. I've only been to
Right.
Porcupine Freedom Festival.
I don't understand why people like you bother having kids. Isn't that what they're for?
They're for work in the fields, man.
Well,
his moved out.
Yeah,
I know.
You bring them back in temporarily.
She's in. Speaking about Bernie, she's in Vermont.
Has she joined the Bernie bots?
I don't know. All I know is that we don't talk as much these days, and I think it has to do with politics.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Forkfest.party. If you want to get together with people that actually share a lot of your beliefs, not all of them. You never know who you're going to meet there. Libertarians, voluntarists, anarchists. They're going to be hanging out from June 29th till July 5th at Rogers Campground. It's in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. Maybe you just want to chill out, relax, camp with some other freedom lovers, or maybe you want to create a thing for those people to do, because Forkfest is decentralized. There's no organizer. So, Johnson, you were talking about marketing. I mean, yeah, I market Forkfest, but it's not on behalf of anybody.
Right.
It's not for anybody.
I know that there are other people that market Forkfest as well.
Right. I think Chris Wade, our Friday night host, is actually promoting Forkfest on a Linux Mint website. Or the Linux Mint website.
Somehow, yeah.
So I think it'd be great. I hope we can get more crypto people to show up. It was really almost like a crypto camping festival this year, because all of the vendors were taking cryptocurrency, which was awesome. You could eat all day long.
I'm sure if Chris gets his way, there'll be a large free and open source software contingent.
Wonderful. And they can have speeches or a hackathon or something like that. You could put whatever you want together.
They'll merge with what's that the
I don't even know where you're going.
Jack Schmeck's thing.
Oh, Alt Expo.
Alt Expo. They'll merge with
Expo.
Alt Expo and have some sort of
That
thing
could
going on
could
there.
happen, or they could do it separately. You
Yep.
never know, right? Like, people can do whatever kind of merging or creating of the things they want to. It's up to you. The experience that you have there. There's no organizers. There's no tickets. The only thing you got to do is just book your campsite at Rogers. So go to forkfest.party. That is an unofficial website that'll link you to chat room and forum and such. Let's go back to Cherie. She's on the line with us here in California. Cherie, you're a government school teacher out in California. And Conan, you'd asked a question right before we went to break.
Yep.
Go ahead.
The big, what we plebes hear quite often is that teachers do not make enough in this country. And I am just curious, and I know you've got some years under your belt, so you probably make a lot more than the guys just entering into the position. But what is your opinion on the how teachers are paid?
I think overall it's not too bad in the aspect. I mean, you still spend money on your classroom because you don't get a lot of money. You know, you get so much, you only get a little bit of money for your classroom, but you end up spending a lot of your money. But I'm not too bad. I mean, my husband makes an income too, so.
You're not uncomfortable after however many decades of teaching. You feel like you're all right. And you also get some benefits in there as well that I imagine aren't too bad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I make that bad of a wage. Now, when I worked for the private schools, that was really difficult because then you're not making anything. I mean, you're making anywhere from about $40,000 at the most. And actually, that's high. So usually it's around the 20s. And right now, I'm making in the 70s, and I'm not going to get any higher unless I go finish my master's. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like a decent. You're not in San Francisco, right?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
And it's not bad. I mean, it's.
Yeah, most people would say that's actually really good. I mean, $70,000.
It's well above the national average.
That's almost rich territory for a lot of people.
You know, I've gotten to where now you do spend. More than, you don't work 12 hours. I mean, you spend, you get work, and then you work when you get home. You might work about 10 o'clock at night sometimes.
What do you do from July
one day off
to
on the
September?
weekend, but one day I spend just working. So one day is off. I take one day off a week.
What do you do from July to September?
July to, I start planning for the next year. I take probably about a month completely off where I don't do any school stuff.
Do you take a lot of prep?
I'll be honest.
I know some schools have prep courses for teachers for the upcoming year. during the summer?
Well, you have classes that you'll go to. You might take classes, little short ones, online. You might find something new to try out with the new year. But you spend a lot of time. I think that's what people don't realize is that you spend so much time.
Sheree, I want to say thanks for calling in and joining us here tonight. Definitely appreciate hearing from you, and thanks for sharing your experience. She sounds like somebody who, got into it for the right reasons. She did say when asked, what she would like to see changed is having more choice, more educational choice from the teacher's perspective. She did indicate that she was given some choice, meaning that she had to teach to certain standards that were, crammed down from on high, but ultimately that she could sort of supplement that, I guess, with some
and has taught
content
in private schools,
yeah,
but probably decided not to continue that route because they make so much less.
The money's better elsewhere.
The money's better in the government the facility.
So
which like I said, which is probably why that charter school that we talked about earlier failed, because it could not compete with the too big to fail education system.
And while it might be a salary of $70,000, if you're taking a month off, it's more like $76,000.
That's a lot. By the way, I'm sorry, Jerry, that's a lot of damn money for what a teacher has to do. I know that you're providing a good service, but that's a lot of money.
It's a paid vacation for a month.
You said your husband's making too, so I mean, that's a lot of money.
Sweet. Yeah, and that's not including the bennies. Right, so 70,000 plus.
Yeah,
healthcare.
I have a bachelor's degree. I should go into teaching.
There you go.
With that kind of money, I mean, like, why not? I should be doing something better than
Go. You do have a bachelor's, right?
Yeah,
go teach English in some other country.
Yeah, well,
get one of these companies. They have benefits. They have packages.
I heard you don't need degrees for that. I heard they're just looking for people who can speak English.
A lot of the ones that I've looked at are the good ones. Require degrees. Starting at bachelor's and up. And then you can drag your.
I could be. I mean, the best of all types of teachers because I have a degree in art. So I could go and teach art at a school.
There you go.
And make that money. They'll never get rid of me. They'd love me.
The toll-free number tonight,
the liberal-backed education.
855-450-FREE. We were going to talk about the shooting.
Yeah, we need to because I have a sneaking suspicion that a large segment of our population probably hasn't heard about this.
Okay.
Because it doesn't fit the agenda. The gun grabbing, take the guns away from the desk jockeys, from the button pushers, because we don't want them with the ability to defend themselves if they don't like how we're doing things, because that's what it's all about. It's not about hunting. It's not about the Second Amendment is not even about defending yourself from burglars. Because when the framers were coming up with this idea, and the guys before them as well, I don't think any of them could ever conceive a time when no one would not have guns. Of course you're going to use your gun to go hunting. That's not what it's about. It's about when the First Amendment fails and you can no longer get the yahoos that are taking charge of your life to listen and reason. The Second Amendment is there to protect and to take it back.
So in this case, it helped protect
when the First Amendment was drafted, private civilians had muskets and cannons. And, the government had muskets and cannons.
There's more coming up here. 855-450-FREE. You can join us on the radio, Free Talk Live.
Jake was in big trouble with the IRS. He owed how much?
$92,000.
Ouch. The IRS left no room for Jake to breathe.
They put a lien on my house, took all the money out of my bank account, took money out of my paychecks. So it was a nightmare.
He needed help fast.
I figured that all these companies were the same until I called Federal Tax Management. You could just tell they knew what they were talking about. Right then and there, I felt like I had some hope.
Stop the liens, levies, and garnishments fast and qualify for one of several special IRS programs that could reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. So, how'd it go for Jake?
They did what they said they would do. They came through for me. I ended up saving an unbelievable amount. I was so jazzed. I was extremely happy.
If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes, take Jake's advice.
Give Federal Tax Management a phone call. If they help me, they can help anybody.
Call the Federal Tax Management Hotline now. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625.
Warning, don't let your business get left behind in what is likely to be the biggest economic boom in recent history. If you need to build for your business to grow, call General Steel today for a pre-engineered steel building designed for your needs. No wasted space. Steel prices are expected to rise, but you can still lock in your price on a General Steel building. And you can still save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. As much as half. But you must call now. If you need a church building, office, warehouse, manufacturing space, retail space, or more, call General Steel today. You can still get the General's 50-year structural warranty and General Steel quality, all at a price you can afford. So don't let rising steel prices put your project out of reach and stop you from making your company great.
800-965-1295. 800-965-1295. 800-965-1295. That's 800-965-1295.
Is your child defiant, independent, annoyingly inquisitive? After a long, hard day of following the rules, who wants to deal with troublesome kids? 49% of children suffer from oppositional defiant disorder, or ODD. Symptoms of ODD include independent thought, rampant creativity, and failure to submit to authority. But now there's a solution. The good people at Pilfer can help you with their time-release, once-daily capsule, Compliacin. Your child won't be able to form his own opinions, let alone express them. It maintains your child's ability to go to a state-run school and perform simple tasks around the house. You won't have to worry about parenting, and the school won't have to deal with your kid asking questions. Compliacin. You'll go from this.
Quit telling me what to do! Quit telling me what to do! Quit telling me what to do!
To this.
Good morning, Mother. I love going to school. And this week we're learning all about how the government is our federal family and they're here to help us.
Compliacin. Talk to your school psychiatrist and ask for it by name.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you want. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Just looking and laughing at our Discord server over at discord.lrn.fm. There's always something entertaining going on there. But Camel Toe posts in the news story show prep headline, Florida man crashes truck into a bar to steal Dr. Pepper. That's
what other reason would you have if you're in Florida and it's, you're thirsty, man. It's hot there.
So anyway, we can talk about whatever's on your mind. We're going to get into the shooting at the church that was apparently stopped relatively quickly.
Oh, it was quick. It happened. If you don't see it, you don't see it.
In the video, you mean? There's video, right?
You have to watch the damn thing 15 times to get to just see everything that takes place. It's like choreographed, which is why I immediately thought it was not real. But I do believe that it really happened, the way that it went down.
Something else you can believe is going to happen is Liberty Con. It's coming up next year, April 3rd through the 5th in D.C. It's going to be for people that want to network with over 70 pro-liberty organizations, perhaps for their career advancement, business, or internship opportunities. You get to see some great speakers. John Mackey from Whole Foods will be there. He's a libertarian. Vernon Smith won the Nobel Prize in Economics. Miriam Issa, pop culture expert, political commentator with over 300 million YouTube views. And Nassim Nicholas Taleb, the author of The Black Swan. There are a lot of more speakers to learn about over at libertycon.com. Plus, you can use code FTL to save $10 on your registration, which prices are going up very soon for LibertyCon. So if you've wanted to get the early bird price, you need to get over there as soon as possible at libertycon.com. Mark your calendar, April 3rd through the 5th. The prices for this thing are shockingly low. I don't know what they're going to go up to when they do go up, but for right now, tonight, and I believe for the next couple of nights, you can get these tickets through January or until January 4th. You can get an adult ticket for $79 for a convention in DC and save $10 by using code FTL, like Free Talk Live, at libertycon.com. We go to your calls and thoughts. Matthew is calling us from Louisiana, watching us on YouTube. Go ahead, Matthew.
So first off, Happy New Year to all of y'all.
Thanks.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm sitting here watching the fireworks go off, strictly illegal and yet never enforced. Watching the gun smoke kind of blow by my backyard.
Something illegal you can do in Louisiana and not go to prison? That's pretty cool.
Well, I think a long time ago, Sheriff Harry Lee of Jefferson Parish decided he isn't going to arrest everybody in the parish. Mm-hmm. Just keep it reasonable.
Yeah, as long as you don't get the Californians deciding that they don't have room in Texas anymore and they start moving to Louisiana.
Right.
Well, yeah, we have some of that going on, but they head straight into Orleans Parish, where they proceed to implement the policies that make California
what it is, a crap hole.
Right. So you had that gentleman from California call in about that policy regarding making it illegal for a school to suspend a kid for willful disobedience. Well, in Jefferson Parish, where I live, they have decided what they're going to do to avoid having too many suspensions on their books is they're just going to take the kids who are willfully disobedient and stick them in the school office where my wife gets to sit there and stare at them.
Yep. Or in some of these schools, a safe room, a quiet room, a padded quiet room.
Really? Padded rooms?
Oh, yeah, lots of schools.
Oh, they would enjoy a padded room, just run into the walls, full tilt all the time. But what they get to do instead, they get to chit-chat with my wife all the time while she's trying to do her work, such as it is. And so this is becoming a very common thing is we don't want too many suspensions on our record because it makes it look like, we have poor discipline. Well,
I see. So just put them in a room. Yeah. Well, I mean, they had a study hall for that when I was in school. That's where they put the trouble kids.
Well, what they did for me when I was in Maris Brothers in Japan was we got basically to show up at school on a Saturday, and they had this big abandoned lot. It really wasn't abandoned, but just wasn't used. And we got to go back there and pull these gigantic milkweeds out on Saturday.
I've been there.
Saturday school. I've been to Saturday school. They didn't have us doing that. We had to sit in a
cigarette
room.
Butts.
We had to sit in a room. Basically, it was like a long-term prison kind of situation. And actually, it wasn't study hall. It was in-school suspension. That was the term where they just put the bad kids in a room. So that's been going on for a long time.
I'm laughing at your guys' weak.
Our weak?
Your weak experiences of discipline in schools.
Oh, because you went to military academy.
Well, it was not a military
academy
per se, but a boarding school that was a character education school. So
how did they educate your character?
Oh, even the slightest display of attitude would earn you a 24-hour work crew where you're not allowed to talk to anyone.
Hold on, 24 hours straight? You couldn't sleep during that?
You were allowed to sleep, but you were on work crew where you were not allowed to talk to anyone unless you were in a learning group where you were talking about your attitude problems and the things that were going on with you.
And what sort of work crew were you expected to perform?
Grounds maintenance, moving rock walls, digging holes and filling them in. that kind of stuff.
And here I am.
And this also began at 5:30 in the morning with a full throttle workout. That generally resulted in most of the people in the workout throwing up.
And here I am thinking that you were discovering your latent mutant abilities. So you're saying it's not that type of school? You were actually
No,
it was a military. Oh, okay.
It looked like Professor Xavier's Academy for the gifted
kids,
but it did not function that way.
Matthew, thanks for the call tonight. I do appreciate hearing from you here on our live New Year's Eve episode of Free Talk Live. Yeah, it's definitely way more hardcore than
and it was structured so that the upperclassmen were the ones with authority. So it's definitely where I firmly learned that how authority corrupted people, and a lot of where I believe that I formed my libertarian beliefs by understanding that people with authority generally are
douches,
don't deserve it, and haven't done what it takes to actuly earn that authority.
4 years in the army, 4 years in the military. I figured that out real quick. There are a lot of people making decisions on my behalf who shouldn't have been ever put into that position, and so and
it shows you, when you see that type of authority granted to anyone, you see how it gravitates towards a certain type of person.
Bunch of psychopaths a lot of the time.
Conan, tell us about this shooting.
This article coming from Fox News, and so take it with a grain of salt. You know that they have a slant. This has been reported on some of the other outlets, but it hasn't been the top headline. It's been down there, and as soon as it was drop it and run. So you're not hearing it anymore, but you probably hear this for the rest of the week on Fox at least. But I know there's some other organizations that'll continue to talk about this. I saw it all over my social media, from certain types,
and not Facebook,
and not from other types. I love Facebook, man.
Really?
It's a guilty
This is
pleasure.
2 years now, man. 2 years I'm off Facebook.
It's a guilty pleasure. But I have rules though.
Okay.
And maybe we'll get into that later. But anyways, Fox News reports the man who jumped into action when a gunman opened fire on worshipers during church service in Texas said Monday he was placed in a position he didn't want to be in, but he had to react because evil exists. And we had this conversation last week. Gene, the Christian anarchist, he said those exact words. If you want to call in and tell me what you think about this. This man did it because he believes in his heart evil exists, and he took it out.
To me, from what I've understood or heard about this particular shooting, this guy should be change his career path to marksman training.
He is a weapons instructor.
He is an instructor.
He teaches. Yes, we'll get to that.
Well, if you live in his area, you should be attending his class.
He actually ran the church's defense program.
Right.
Okay. 2 men were killed when the gunman opened fire at West Freeway Church of Christ in White Settlement. That's the name of the place. On Sunday morning, as more than 240 parishioners were inside. Within seconds, he was shot to death by 2 congregants who fired back. I only saw 1 fire back. I'm not sure where this second person comes, but a lot of people were carrying.
3 or 4 pulled out weapons immediately.
There were 5 in the last scene that I saw that had their firearms pulled. Jack Wilson, a Hood County resident running for commissioner for the 3rd Precinct, who is the head of the church's security team and a firearms instructor.
I'm sorry, I have to mention it.
Shared some details on his campaign's Facebook page as he gave thanks to all who have sent their prayers and comments on the events of that day.
This is White Settlement in Hood
County.
It's
called White Settlement, I know.
In Hood County.
Yes.
There's more coming up here in moments. The toll-free number, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Hour number 3 is on the way. You are tuned to Free Talk Live.
Balance of Nature's fruit and veggie capsules contain 100% fine-ripened fruits and vegetables, tested pure with no pesticides, fillers, or additives of any kind, and are the most effective whole food supplements on the market today. Fruits and vegetables are on an average 85% water. Balance of Nature uses cold vacuum technology to remove the water, leaving only the whole food. We don't use any heat, air, or light drying methods that damage nutrients. Our cold vacuum technology maintains 99% of the fresh fruits and vegetables' original nutritional value. Experience the balance of nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we will take an additional 35% off of your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FTL.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,515, silver at $17.92, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,243. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, Iraqi Prime Minister Adel Abdul Mahdi on Sunday accused the Trump administration of violating his nation's sovereignty and further heightening tensions in the region after the U.S. bombed several targets in Iraq and Syria, killing at least 25 fighters and injuring dozens more. The Pentagon claimed the airstrikes, which U.S. President Donald Trump approved late Saturday, were a defensive response to a rocket attack on an Iraqi military base last week that killed an American contractor. The U.S. blamed the Kataib Hezbollah militia for the attack and pointed fingers at Iran, which the Trump administration said is funding and arming the group. Kataib Hezbollah quickly vowed retaliatory action, saying the Trump administration's actions have left it with no choice but confrontation. An Iraqi militia group allied with Kataib Hezbollah said it's their duty to put an end to the U.S. military presence in Iraq through every legitimate method. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. On Thursday, Assistant Porham, Oklahoma Police Chief David Ray Cash was arrested and charged for crimes associated with the sexual assault of two small children, a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old. In this case, one of the victims actually called 911 to report the abuse in progress. The Free Thought Project, citing the Muskogee County Sheriff's Office, says that deputies responded to a 911 call on December 19th. The caller, reportedly one of the victims, told dispatch that the 49-year-old Cash was sexually assaulting them, according to an affidavit filed with the case. The Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation conducted a sexual assault nurse examination, which found injuries to one of the children were consistent with child sexual abuse. While he was detained during interviews, the assistant chief confessed to sexually assaulting the two children on multiple occasions between September and December. According to a 36-count grand jury indictment, a Seattle company used a hidden drain to dump a highly corrosive chemical solution directly into the sewer system. The Mind Unleashed reports inside the sewer, a robot's camera recorded a white stain of unknown origin. And according to a federal indictment handed down earlier this month, federal agents executed a search warrant after real-time monitoring equipment they installed indicated an unusual spike in the water's pH. During the search, a portable pump covered in a high pH liquid and a hidden drain that had never been disclosed were both discovered. It turns out that both the company's owner and manager of the plant, who happen to be cousins, have been lying to regulators since at least 2009, according to the indictment. The scheme was discovered in 2018. The Seattle Barrel and Cooperage Company collects used 55-gallon industrial drums and resells them after undergoing a reconditioning process. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
The FBI has successfully executed a raid on the Visa Corporation, exposing what could be the largest credit card scam in U.S. history. According to authorities, the Visa syndicate for years fooled millions of Americans by issuing convincing-looking credit cards carefully designed to dupe consumers into spending far more money than they had. Investigators believe the fraudulent corporation also lured victims in with enticing rewards programs and free gifts, thereby trapping them in a spiral of debt they could never hope to repay. According to the results of a groundbreaking new study, 96% of humans would rather be a singing, dancing animatronic bear. The study finds that a great majority of people on the planet would prefer to trade in their regular lives for one in which they sat on a plastic log, strummed a banjo, and sang songs on a stage with all their goofy bear friends. Respondents also stated that not being a sentient human being with feelings of doubt, sadness, and pain contributed to the decision.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. We're talking about the church shooting in Texas, where a man pulled what appeared to be a shotgun from the video that I was looking at here and blasted what appeared to be, was it one of the security agents?
The first guy who got it, he was actually going to shoot one of the collection guys. He had a plate and the whole nine, and then one of the parishioners reached for his gun, and the shotgun wielder changed his intent, took him out, and then took out the collection guy, and then he got it. It happened so fast.
Yeah,
it's almost like a blur.
I mean, this guy he barely got like a shot off before he's taken down.
There were 3 from the time of the first shot to his death, 2 seconds.
Yeah, so we're 12 seconds into the video, 13 seconds, he pulls out the shotgun. A few seconds later, he fires one shot. He's fired off the shot like literally 3 seconds later, and then he's down. from about 30 feet away across the room. Yeah.
I had read 40.
I'm going to say at least from the height of the shooter, Wilson, I laid it out, and it was probably around 30. But it's a camera and it's facing down, so who knows? Yeah. The events at West Freeway Church of Christ put me in a position that I would hope no one would have to be put in.
This is the guy who killed the shooter.
This is Wilson. But evil exists, and I had to take out an active shooter in church, he wrote. I'm thankful to God that I have been blessed with the ability and desire to serve him in the role of head of security at the church. At a news conference Sunday night, White Settlement Police Department Chief J.P. Bevering told reporters the gunman, who has yet to be identified, and he has been, I think his name is Conan,
okay,
some crazy homeless guy,
He looks like a homeless guy, even though the video is all the way across the room. He's got a hood up or whatever.
In the church setting, he had a wig and a fake beard on, and had his hoodie up. So it was all kinds of weird. And they had him scoped out.
Oh yeah. He's separated from the whole group, acting really strange. At the beginning of this video.
The first guy who got shot was actually his job. He was scoping him because they didn't know what he was up to. But he'd been in the church before, so he has been identified. He sat down in a pew before getting up, taking out a shotgun, and firing at a parishioner who was killed. Wilson, the gunman who took out the silly shooter, told reporters gathered at his home in White Settlement the gunman first shot Richard White, who is one of the security guards who has been keeping an eye on the man due to some concerns about him. The church security team head said others noticed the man had a fake beard and a fake wig on, in addition to a long coat. We had cameras turned on him, he said. And by the way, I went to this church's site because the look at the camera angle, and why would you have that angle ever? Because you have the pastor up at the top, and you're taking a shot of this group, the entire group.
It's a security camera. The reason why you would have this camera is so you can see the whole room.
It's just like the cameras in this room right here. We have different shots. So if you go and look at their past,
oh really? This is what they're recording with.
If you look at their past sermons, they probably have like 3 or 4 cameras. They have at least 3 cameras. Yeah. And they do have one that is just focused on the pastor.
Sure.
And then they have this side view.
Well, why wouldn't you want an audience view?
Well, it depends on what you're doing with it.
Right. I mean, this doesn't seem like an unusual perspective.
I just want. Well, I mean,
you want to see the audience rise up and sing.
It's very convenient that you get all of this on tape.
I thought you said you didn't think this was a conspiracy.
I do. No, I don't. I think this is real. But I had to go check it out. This is just one of their multiple shots. So they probably had 3.
It's a high budget church.
They had 3 different cameras. Are you recording all 3 of these or just
one?
Just
at a
the
time.
one.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're recording all 3 or they just the one.
I don't know either.
When
it is.
When the gunfire began, Wilson said there were people initially in between him and the shooter who stood up, and that he wanted to make sure he didn't hit a member as they were right in front of him. This guy is not a cop because he didn't grab anyone to defend himself, and he wasn't waiting for people to get down. This is very obvious. A live stream of the church service shows the gunman getting up from a pew and talking to someone at the back of the church before pulling out a gun and opening fire.
Yep.
Parishioners can be heard screaming and seen ducking under pews or running as papers fly to the floor. I had a clear shot, and I was comfortable taking that shot, Wilson said Monday. Within 6 seconds, and I counted 3 seconds from when he noticed him and put his hand on his firearm, 3 seconds. It was 2 seconds from shot to end shot, first shot to end shot. So it was...
Yeah, they take him down fast.
It was very quick. The gunman was down, bleeding profusely from his head after Wilson fired 1 round. He told reporters on Monday he then pulled the shotgun away from the man's body as he was twitching and stood over him in case the shooter tried to get up, which he did not.
There's multiple people in the room with guns, by the way.
By the time the last scene I saw, I counted 5. The first guy who was shot was the 6th. Some people have set up to 8. Including Wilson himself.
No amount of killings of these shooters is going to stop them entirely because you can never stop insanity. You can't stop crazy people. But for anybody that if we had more of this, where shooters were taken out within seconds of pulling out a gun before they could even get off a shot, or in this case, after 1 or 2 shots maximum.
But if nobody had guns,
there are 2 things. There are 2 things that are going to prevent these nasty shooters from pulling this stunt. The quickness in which it went down, and our damn media actually reporting on the fact, and not only reporting when 20 people get killed.
No, we need stricter mental health
and the police went in there. They don't even say that often. So yeah, we need our media to actually report on these situations where the gunman does try to pull a stunt and gets taken down in a heartbeat. That will dissuade these shooters from trying to pull this kind of stunt.
If this hobo had been screened for mental health, he never would have been able to get a gun.
But they're not gonna, because it doesn't fit their agenda.
Well, plus, we were searching here during the top of the hour news break.
I went through 3 pages on Chrome.
Yeah, and I was searching for like uncut Texas shooter, uncensored Texas shooter,
I tried
full
whole
Texas
video.
shooter or church shooter video, and the best I found, again, we only had like 5 minutes to do it, but the best that I found was LiveLeak, and I didn't get that through Google. I just knew LiveLeak has had these sorts of videos before, even though they actually ended up creating a policy against sort of gore, violence, ISIS-style videos. In this case, they did have the video, but it was censored, but it wasn't cut, whereas all the CNNs and the major news sources have like frames of the video, maybe little blips of the video, but then they cut the actual shooting portion.
Yeah.
And because they cut the shooting portion, they also cut the guy getting the killer getting shot too.
And any crazy person out there is never going to see it.
Right.
They're not going to feel it.
Right.
I mean, because it's graphic.
Well, it's not particularly graphic. It's very distant, actually. It's all the way across the room.
But if you know what's taking place,
you can see what's taking place.
To me, my heart was in my throat the whole time watching this thing.
I would say it's the least graphic video of killing that I've seen in a long time. If you want a graphic video, the video of, well, of course, there's plenty of ISIS videos that have come out over the years. They're very hard to find. But there's also...
those really well-made ones...
The New Zealand one as well. The New Zealand shooter at the mosque. That one is horrifying.
I have
graphic.
it, and it's hard to watch, and I'm not sure about it.
Oh God, Conan!
Oh my God!
Are you serious, man?
Hey, what I use to find this, I use the Dissenter browser.
Yeah, I want to hear about this.
Dissenter. I've been using it for a year. I really like it.
What is it?
It's just a browser, and it enables you to actually.
Is this the commenting thing where you can comment on
You can comment on every website.
That's amazing.
And they use.
How do they do it? Is it blockchain based or is it like their own database?
I don't know how it is, but I know that their search engine is DuckDuckGo.
Okay, because that's what I was going to ask was if you couldn't find it through Google, and I couldn't. I was thinking, all right, well, where do I go, to search for this? That's why I just went to LiveLeak Direct just to see if they had it. You ended up finding a site, concealednation.org. We have put the link up on the Free Talk Live various different social media. So we're on Twitter at twitter.freetalklive.com. We're on Mastodon at toot, toot.freetalklive.com. And also on Telegram at telegram.freetalklive.com. If you've been looking for this uncensored video, that's where you can go and get it right now. We can continue here in just a moment. Your calls and thoughts are welcome. And you say you've been using this Dissenter for a year?
I love it. It's good.
It sounds amazing.
Except my stupid laptop I have. I'm still using Chrome. I just put Dissenter for the first time on my laptop that I never use except when I'm here.
Does it have any plugins?
No.
No plugins. All right. So that's too bad. More coming up here. This is Free Talk Live. Have you heard of LibertyCon? LibertyCon is not only a convention with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO and co-founder John Mackey and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith, but it's also unique because you get a chance to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations, one-on-one for the purpose of career advancement, business, and internship opportunities. April 3rd through 5th in Washington, D.C. You can learn more by visiting libertycon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on your registration. That's libertycon.com.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Free Talk Live is now on more than 200 radio stations nationwide. We've had more than 18 million podcast downloads, and we claim millions of listens a month. We're a multimedia ad venue with print, email, web, and terrestrial radio marketing platforms. We strive to have ad packages that cater to advertisers big and small. Contact me today at mark@freetalklive.com to see what we can do for you. mark@freetalklive.com. If you're a local advertiser, contact this station. But if you can service a national audience, contact me, mark@freetalklive.com.
I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet.
Hey guys, Mark Claire here, lionsofliberty.com, where we strive to advance the ideas of liberty daily. We bring you the Morning Roar. That's right, every Monday to Friday we'll have a brand new edition of the Morning Roar, where we provide a roundup of some news stories that you may not find in the mainstream media or even in your typical social media newsfeed. We find stories that relate to the ideas of liberty and provide you with our liberty perspective on them. Every Monday, we have our longest-running feature, Mondays with Murray, named after the great libertarian Murray Rothbard, where we'll examine an article or an excerpt from his works and help convey his view, along with our little spin as well. We wrap it all up every Friday with Felony Friday, where our own John Odermatt goes out and takes a look at some sort of felony. There's felonies committed every day, you know, whether it's a felony committed by the police, a politician, or even an average citizen. You can find all of this and so much more over at lionsofliberty.com. Advancing the ideas of liberty daily.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you get the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at anypayinc.com. anypayinc.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you want here and take control of the airwaves. Our number 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. Here in the studio tonight, it's New Year's Eve. We're live. We'll take your calls and thoughts about what you want. We've been talking about the church shooting, the most recent one that happened in Texas. One shooter shot two people, apparently.
Two parishioners.
Did both die? Because I read somewhere
one died there, and one died in the way to the hospital.
Okay.
And they were point blank shotgun.
Pretty
blasts.
pretty awful. But this guy gets blasted within seconds of having fired off his two shots. I mean, the whole conflict lasts no more than, I would say, 5 to 6 seconds. And the good armed people that are inside this church took this guy down. And he has also perished, correct? The shooter himself is dead.
Oh, yeah, he died at the scene.
Yeah. So the toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. I do want to let you know about Edge Wallet. It is the best cryptocurrency wallet, in my opinion, at the moment. I use it more often than any other. There are a few others that I like as well, but Edge is great because it's super easy for a newbie to get involved with cryptocurrency. And for somebody who's experienced as well, it's also got some really great features. It supports a bunch of different cryptos like Bitcoin BTC or Dash, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Stellar, and others. You can go to edge.app to learn more about how you can secure your freedom with Edge, buy, sell, trade, and securely hold various cryptocurrencies. There's an iOS version and an Android version. So head on over there to edge.app and learn more about it, or just go to your iOS or Android app stores and download Edge Wallet and get started with the world of cryptocurrency. So we're talking about this shooting video, which I believe, let's see, the site is concealednation.org. The link's up. It's in our Discord. It's on our various social media, and you can go and see it for yourself there. But it's basically being censored on mainstream media, if they're showing it at all.
They should be showing this in school.
Well, this is one of the...
No, I'm serious about that. They're worried about these kids all doped up, getting a bright idea in their head that they can, take out their problems with a gun.
Mm-hmm.
If they knew that this type of situation actually exists, this type of repercussion could actually happen to them if they decided to, take it to that level, they might not do it. because they'll have second thoughts.
So there's the argument as to why you don't show videos like this, and the media seems to go along with this.
Why they won't read thew manifesto, or why they won't show it, because they don't want to give them credence. They don't want to give them any ideas.
I mean, it makes sense to not show people,
don't show them
not hero worship them, not show their manifestos, not show that, but why not show them getting blown away?
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe not so much the ones that were successful, where 30 people got shot, but this one, blast this all over and let them see this is what you're going to get if you mess with
Texas.
Texas.
But the argument is like, well, not just beyond that, we don't want to give attention to the shooter. The argument is essentially that that generally it's a bad idea to show violence publicly for various different reasons.
Never mind the fact that that's all we watch on television, and it's all our video games, and it's all our books. Everything is violent. I mean, we are a violent culture.
Well, and what's interesting is that it's different elsewhere. So when I was in Mexico last year for Anarchapulco, there was some conversation I'd had with Angel Clark, who was, we hang out with when we go down there. She was talking about how in the media there, if there's like, a gang shooting or whatever, there's a dead body in the streets. In the newspaper there, they're going to put that on the front page, a photograph of the dead body. No problem. Publish that.
Right.
Whereas in the United States, it may be the headline, it may be the top story, but it's not going to be a photo of the actual carnage. And so it'd be interesting to find out, from maybe some of our international listeners, how this story would have been handled if it, again, most places don't have gun freedom, so this story probably never would have existed in a lot of places with somebody actually defending themselves successfully against a shooter. But,
Yeah, North Korea is not going to even talk about this one.
How would this be different if it were covered elsewhere in the media? I tend to agree that people should have the ability to see this stuff. I can understand the editorial decision to say you don't want to, gross out your viewers or whatever.
You're triggering the family. That's always what the reason is that you can't show this stuff because
of kids.
Because of kids and because the family of
meanwhile,
the victim.
Meanwhile, they're in the next room blowing a Nazi's head off with whatever firearm they just picked up.
Right.
You mean in like a video game?
In a video game, yeah. Or watching Game of Thrones in the next room when they're getting heads cut off.
Yeah.
It's like, why is that all right, but this isn't? Because it's
a great question.
Because one is fantasy, and this is. If anything, we should be focused more on reality and what could, what the real repercussions could be.
That's why I do tend to, share this kind of stuff. I mean, I don't relish doing it because I do understand that, there are some legitimate arguments against it to some extent, but I think people should have the choice. I don't think, like, for instance, the video of the shooting in New Zealand was horrifying, and no one should watch that video.
Speaking of video game, that's what it looked like.
That's what he had in mind, too. A very young guy, 22 or something like that?
Yeah.
But, I think that people should have the choice. The video should be available. It shouldn't be suppressed. And there's an active movement to suppress videos like this. And Conan, you're suggesting that Chrome, which is a Google browser, may actually be manipulating search results. Oh, yeah.
By the way, the Google guy who came out and said Google was actually who won Hillary Clinton millions of voters in 2016. His wife died the other day, a car accident. Very suspicious car accident. Anyways, he came out and said Google did, in fact, manipulate the algos,
right,
and pushed all of anything anti-Hillary down to the bottom.
Right.
They didn't erase anything. They just pushed everything to the bottom. This guy figured it out. His wife just died.
And he worked for Google.
No, he's one of these. He's like Johnson. He's a techie.
I see.
He's a dude named Ben. He's a dude named Johnson.
Right. Did he? So he didn't work for them. He's just a techie guy.
No, he doesn't have anything to do with Google.
Okay,
he's a tech scientist.
Right. Okay.
So he studied the numbers. He studied the algos and figured out that.
And you searched. What did you search to find this video on DuckDuckGo?
Okay, I searched freeway church shooting.
Freeway church. So it was called freeway church. So see, I was looking for like Texas church. Or whatever.
I didn't. Just very simple.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the number 5 down on the list for me.
All right, so let's see here. On Google, the results are CNN, the number 1 result, NBC, Dallas-Fort Worth, number 2. ABC News, number 3. Wikipedia, number 4. New York Times, Time, Dallas News, NBC News, Star Telegram, all mainstream media sources. And I didn't do a news search. That's the full Google search.
Yeah, I went 3 pages with nothing. And it was all these mainstream media sites. Nothing. And I knew it was one of these off the rails type sites. Never heard of them before.
That's interesting that you didn't even use uncensored or full or any of the terms I was trying, just to try to find a legit version of it. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Coming up, is the Postal Service going to be privatized?
It needs to be.
In 2020. Conan, you work for them.
I am a contractor for the post office.
So you have an opinion about this, and we're going to talk about it on the way here. You can, of course, bring up what you want. If you want to continue discussing the shooting, that's fine, too. Take control of the airwaves here on Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app, and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You may join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have the Discord call-in line rooms. You may join those, and you'll sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us tonight. In that studio, it's me, Ian.
And me, Johnson.
And me, Conan.
All right, so you can talk about anything you want here. We've got the USPS, the Postal Service. Are they going to privatize as soon as 2020? According to Fortune magazine, they just might. We'll get into that. Of course, your calls and thoughts are welcome. And I want to say thanks to Bitcoin.com for being a longtime sponsor here on Free Talk Live. It's a great website. There you can go to learn more about cryptocurrency. Get started over there at Bitcoin.com. You can also use their newer site, local.bitcoin.com, that they launched over the summer to allow you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash. And you can do it with dozens of payment methods. And there are no ID requirements to sign up for and to use the site. It is finally a global trading platform that actually respects your privacy. So whether you want to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash, you can do it over at local.bitcoin.com. That's local.bitcoin.com. Let's go to the phones here before we get into the Postal Service. Jimmy is on the line in Tucson, watching on YouTube. Go ahead, Jimmy. Hello? I heard
Conan.
Go ahead, man.
Hi, Conan. I got some advice for your minister friend there that he should get a new hobby. He should try to tell the truth first and then let Jimmy give his opinion. But I got a question for you, even though I think you're as deep as a puddle.
Wait, say that again. Deep as a what?
Puddle.
A puddle?
Crash. Deep as a puddle.
Yeah, we've got a lot of those around here, these snow puddles. Go ahead.
Defaults to conspiracy beliefs about some woman gets in a car crash, it's suspicious, and therefore she was murdered. Right.
When there's an embankment in the middle of the
about-
road, and somehow she got over it, a concrete embankment, and somehow she got into the
she
other.
Was murdered.
I think he was
She
describing
murdered.
the size
What
of
are
the
you gonna
drink
do
he's going to
about
be
it?
consuming tonight.
She was murdered.
It's as deep as a
So
puddle.
this is the question I have for you, Conan, about Johnson Spice Boy.
Johnson
Spice Boy.
You guys have this belief. You guys have this belief in blowback.
It's E-Boy.
He's goofing on me about things that aren't true, like me having 3 Deweys, and he goes to that's his default put down of me. Let me ask you a serious question.
Well, remember,
Are you asking me, or are you asking
One at
Johnson?
a time, guys. One at a time.
For the umpteenth time, you've used the R word, Johnson. You're so very lucky I haven't played basketball with
What
your
was the
head.
R word?
But
Racist. I also, I just brought back up the fact he seemed to have forgotten that I used to call him a racist
with
all the
Johnson
time.
Rice's head. Let me ask you a
that a
serious
threat?
question, Conan.
Why do you always
If I were to
gotta
put-
hit people in the head with things?
You just called me a
'Cause
racist.
that's what
Why
Jesus would
shouldn't
do.
I break his head open? A racist? I would walk up to a Nazi and say, "Why shouldn't I bash your head into the ground?" I have, literally, Conan, and he didn't.
Was there going to be a
make like
question?
man and take me on.
I
Yeah, there
realize
is a
that
question,
Johnson interrupted
Conan.
him, but go
Hey,
ahead.
Conan, if I were to pound Johnson Rice's skull into pavement, ending his life for good and forever, as he knows it, I wouldn't murder him like Mark Edgington. What do you think the chances are the Keene Pigs Department would give a rat's sassafras?
I wonder
Serious
if I could
question.
make you angry enough over the phone to pop a
Johnson
blood vessel
Rice's
in
life
your,
was
like you
over.
could have like an aneurysm. If I could just trigger you enough to have like an aneurysm right over the phone.
You know, it's just so boring.
Jimmy, if you come here and you attempt to hurt any of my friends,
Haven't already.
I would not hesitate to enact defense of myself and my friends and take vengeance on you if that's what you were trying to get at. Yes, I wouldn't call the cops until after the deed was done. How do you like that?
Good for you. Good for you sticking up for your friends, but that wasn't the question.
You
And I wouldn't
asked
be
me what
sorry.
I would do if you
wouldn't be
killed my
sorry.
friend.
Boring, Jimmy. It's the same damn question you've been calling and asking over and over and over again for I don't know how many years now. And it's
we know
really
you
boring.
can't afford to get here, and you can't drive long enough, stay sober long enough to drive here.
If you even have a license.
There you go. That's your default put down of James Witty kind. If I had a Bitcoin for every time,
it's funny
you
because
played
you're
that
neither
card-
witty nor kind.
Hey, and do me a favor. Don't send me a damn 3-page diatribe tonight. Because I don't read any of them.
Wait, what does he email you or something?
No, on Discord and Facebook and the whole nine.
Yeah. Well, he is in the channel on Discord.
We
called
should
Toxic
start
User.
calling him Jimmy Dummy Mean.
Thanks for the call, Jimmy. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE. I mean, it was just so nice when he stopped calling for 2 months. And you know what? He thinks we talk about him.
We don't.
But we don't. Honestly. It's because you keep calling. That's the only reason why we have to talk about
that
you.
is your relevance. We have to because it's
I
free
still
talk.
haven't bothered. He challenged me a long time ago to go back and find the episodes where he was racist, and I'm like, it's not worth the effort
Who
or
cares?
time.
Yeah.
Back up your claim. Nah.
No.
You can. I mean,
Just stop
anybody
calling.
who wants to can go look if they really care. But the thing is not only do I not care, but neither does anyone else.
Yeah,
You're just not that important.
So bored. He has nothing better to do.
Yeah.
He needs a job. I think that would fix a lot of
He
things.
claims he has a job.
I don't believe
he
it.
He claims he travels.
I don't believe it.
For his job.
I believe that he is stuck at the house and he's eating up that government cheese and he's listening to all kinds of radio stations all day because he's got nothing to do.
Speaking of government cheese.
Idle hands, brah.
USPS.
Get a job.
Get a job at the Postal Service.
Don't. No. No.
He likes the government. Maybe he'll be a census taker.
The story from Fortune.com, the right to an inexpensive public postal system in the U.S. has roots that go back further than most amendments recorded in the Bill of Rights. And they go on to talk about Ben Franklin running the post office, using it to sustain communications between a small group of revolutionaries who would soon wage a winning war on the largest empire in the world. And then a little bit more history, but the public service, or rather postal service as a public government-run entity is not guaranteed, and advocates in Congress, President Donald Trump's administration, and consulting firms like McKinsey & Company have called for the privatization of the agency for some time. Those changes could come as early as next month. Now that seems really optimistic, given how slow the Postal Service is to change anything. They have to go through Congress to change anything significant about how their thing runs.
Actually, they got in a lot of trouble for this last stamp hike because they didn't
to
get
50 cents, 55
cents. They didn't get, if I understand correctly, they did not get congressional approval to do it, and someone is suing them.
Really?
And I don't think it's going to go anywhere. But yeah, they weren't allowed to do that because they didn't get permission from the state.
Right. So even if they have good ideas, and I'm not saying they do, but if they have, like they've suggested, we need to cut back delivery or get rid of
get rid of the whole day. If they got rid of Wednesday, it would help out immensely. Here's the big one that really gets us. We have to prepay into the pension system.
Oh, they're going to talk about the pension.
75 years in advance. I think we're the only organization in the whole goddamn planet who has to do this. And here's the worst part about it. That fund doesn't exist. That money gets put into that pension system, the federal pension system, and it's spent.
Yep.
It's just like Social Security. So that's the main reason why we're in the red.
They're going to get into it. Postal Service shipped more than 13 billion pieces of mail and packages this holiday season. But now,
yeah, that's where I've been this month.
Yeah, but now that the gift giving has abated, the agency, which falls under President Trump's jurisdiction, is facing another deadline: find a new postmaster general by January of 2020. The new leadership will be handpicked and approved by the Postal Service's Board of Governors, a group of men, 3 of whom were appointed by Trump, and along with a current postmaster general and her deputy. Once the new leadership is in place, they'll be tasked by the administration with creating a package of large structural changes intended to help the ailing Postal Service. Those changes will likely include privatizing and selling pieces of the public service off, according to the American Postal Workers Union.
There's another one of our problems.
Which represents more than 200,000 current and retired postal employees.
Strike the root. Just get rid of the private express statutes. Then the Postal Service will tear itself apart in moments.
Meaning that, when you say that, you mean the prohibition against running mail under $1?
Yep.
Because they have a monopoly on mail under $1. You cannot compete with that.
Yeah.
if you're FedEx or UPS.
And you know how fast some of these other companies like Amazon or whatever would just be instantaneous. The postal service would just vanish.
And there's also the Chinese subsidies that doesn't just hurt the post office, but it hurts me as an Amazon merchant.
Mm-hmm.
We'll continue here, and your calls and thoughts are welcome. Our number's 855-450-FREE. Will the USPS change in time before they die completely? More on the way.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Message and data rates may apply.
Help! Seriously, I am too young for hair loss.
My hairline keeps creeping back. Receding?
I got this bald spot.
It's thinning everywhere.
I'm gonna have to give up and shave it.
Dude, put down the razor, because Bosley, America's #1 hair restoration expert, is about to give you your real hair back permanently. Don't ignore the signs of hair loss. Bosley is giving away an absolutely free information kit that reveals all the signs, and a free gift card to anyone who texts KIT88 to 85850. Bosley will show you for free how great your hair could look. Using the latest technology, Bosley's solution to hair loss is permanent and protected by the Bosley Guarantee. Plus, since Bosley has new non-surgical options, you owe it to yourself to text now for an absolutely free information kit and a gift card for $250 off, no matter what level of hair loss you have. Text KIT88 to 85850. KIT88 to 85850.
You've been hearing Dr. Wallach talking about 90 essential nutrients, keeping the body healthy. GCNteam.com now has Beyond Tangy Tangerine tablets, 60 plant-derived minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, packed in a powerful tablet. But that's not it. 160,000 auric points, a knockout punch to free radicals. Call 877-878-4203 or go to GCNteam.com. That's 877-878-4203.
Negotiation isn't just something union leaders and sports agents do. Your entire day is a series of negotiations. If you have young children, you know that. In fact, your kids can teach you a lot about negotiating with grown-ups. According to the world's greatest negotiator, Herb Cohen, author of You Can Negotiate Anything. Herb says that kids understand the process of decision-making within an organization. When one parent says no, they'll ask the other. And Cohen says children persist and persevere. And like smart negotiators of all ages, kids know that no is an opening bargaining position. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important, especially if you're a job seeker. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You may join us here in the remaining moments. We have enough time for you. Perhaps if you dial now, 855-450-FREE. And yes, It is the New Year's Eve edition, so Happy New Year to you. If you have already been through the changeover, as half the world has at this point, or maybe you're still about to get to it, I hope you have a good night tonight. Have fun, and don't do anything too stupid.
Don't drink and drive.
Yeah.
They're out there.
Yes, indeed.
And it's stupid to do it anyways.
So you can bring up what you want here on Free Talk Live. But we're talking about the Postal Service. Apparently, there's a certain task force, a postal task force, because government loves to make task forces to do things.
To study the problem.
Things, yeah.
The problem that a lot of times they created in the first place.
Right. And so in this case, 2018, Trump issued an executive order to create this task force led by Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, who, by the way, is not a fan of cryptocurrency. The group is charged with figuring out how to make the Postal Service a more profitable entity. They recommended the agency roll back collective bargaining rights for postal workers and sell off pieces of the service to private industry. Quote, the USPS current business model has become outdated due to changes in technology, markets, and customer needs and preferences, said the report. It is unsustainable and must be fundamentally changed if the USPS is to avoid a financial collapse and taxpayer-funded bailout, which they've already, as I understand
every year.
Well,
they're actually not. But
aren't they bailing out the pensions, though?
Well, here's how it works. First of all, post office doesn't pay taxes.
Right, so no property tax, no
Correct.
Any tax.
And all the loans are taken out, they're all like interest-free.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. And then you've got this whole pension system, and who the hell knows what's going on with there, but I know that we are paying an awful lot into it because, well, it's boomer time. The boomers
when you say you mean taxpayers are paying into the pension system.
Postal employees.
But you're a contractor.
I'm being paid through the post office, correct? But
okay.
My union is crap.
You have a union?
The Rural Carrier Union, yeah.
Okay.
But I never see raises. I've been there forever. But all the other positions, they have their own unions. Every other position, the clerks and the carriers and the city carriers, yeah, their unions are going to town for them all because they're always getting raises.
The Postmaster General in 2018, at the time, Megan Brennan said she would consider the findings but would not act directly upon them. Quote, the recommendations contained in the report should be evaluated together with legislative and regulatory reforms to address our current financial challenges or urgent financial challenges. And by the way, she can't act directly on them anyway. She has to go to Congress.
Right.
At around the same time, the White House's OMB, Office of Management and Budget, proposed privatizing parts of the Postal Service and ending package delivery.
That's
a crazy idea.
Well, no,
right?
it's backwards because the package delivery is what's keeping us afloat.
Right.
If anything, we need to get rid of all letter delivery and just be a parcel delivery service.
Or as Johnson suggested earlier, make it so the market can compete with mail less than $1. You can't do first class mail with UPS. They're not allowed to.
Imagine if you just charged these spammers more.
Who's gonna send a package for less than $1? It's impossible.
I'm not talking about.
He's talking about
letter mail.
Oh yeah, actually. Here's how you do it. Actually, charge what it is to get to your house. So if you're at
Instead
a hub,
of a subsidized.
if you're going to another post office, it's probably 25 cents.
Right.
But if you're in Alaska, 5 miles down a dirt road,
it costs more than 50 cents.
It should be $15 for that letter.
If you really want the letters to, if you really want to, have those letters get through to people, right? Charge more for the spam.
Correct. All the
garbage.
The garbage that you
because that's all they are is a garbage delivery service.
Yeah, I am
they
already
shuttle garbage all over the country every day. That's all they do. And for the most part, that's what the Postal Service exists. Other than the packages, for the letter mail, it's 80-90% of it is garbage.
Junk.
And they're pennies that
it's
charge
just paper that goes directly in the trash.
We charge them pennies to deliver all that nonsense, and it's if you're out in the boondocks like I am, it costs an incredible amount more than 50 cents per letter to get to that trailer at the end of a 3-mile dirt road.
Well, and that's something the market would do, is they would charge likely for what it costs to get
it. We're not sending your advertising for free.
And you can just tell the guy, look, hey, this is what it's going to cost you if I have to put it in your hand at your driveway, or you could receive it here at our hub, right here in downtown Walpole, and you come pick it up for the same, for 50 cents.
The OMB report.
Or it would still get delivered, but that cost would go to advertisers who are paying instead of paying pennies on the dollar, they'd have to start paying a lot of money.
Pay the actual
and that
price.
money would go to helping to deliver mail to people
to subsidize personal mail. I don't like that. I think everyone should be paying the same across the board.
Well, and here's the thing: we get rid of these laws. There's going to be some services that subsidize and some that won't.
I remember who came up with the idea, but I liked it when I heard it. The idea of, all right, well, if it were, let's say, private, it wasn't a government-run thing, and the market were setting rates, maybe some company would be like, well, we'll send your letter, but we're going to put an ad on it.
Right.
So you get a letter and it's got an ad for it.
You'd probably be able to choose and say, like, let's say you live in a rural area. You'd be able to choose to either pay a little bit more to get your mail, right? You'd be able to opt in to cable mail, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like cable versus broadcast television.
Or you'll get on the bandwagon with the rest of us and just get all your mail through the interwebs.
Yeah. Or you would have to go and pick up your mail. Or you would just say, okay, I want the, like Gmail or whatever, your Hotmail, that kind of thing. You'd get advertising with your mail, and it would be subsidized by advertising.
Yeah,
you'd get paid more to get your mail, or you'd just get it,
I want to jump to these numbers here, guys.
You'll get grandma's Christmas card with, looks like a NASCAR car, just bedecked with...
You got to know these numbers here. I want to make sure we get them out before we wrap this episode of Free Talk Live up. According to the story at Fortune.com, this year marks the 13th straight year of losses.
In the red.
How many billion?
The USPS had a net loss of $8.8 billion in fiscal year 2019, despite a $514 million increase in operating revenue. Again, packages are running some of the money. And that's on track to run out of cash by 2024. That's because, unlike almost every other federal agency, the Postal Service is required to pre-fund health care for all of its retirees, which Brennan told Congress accounts for 80% of the agency's losses.
Up to 75 years, by the way.
Yeah.
In advance.
Brennan pushed for Congress to end the mandate, and key unions and labor groups have backed her in her efforts. Of course, the Union of Postal Workers is against that. While the Postal Service is a federally run agency, it is considered financially independent and hasn't received taxpayer money for more than 30 years. The agency relies on sales of stamps, services, and other products to fund itself. Still, Congress has ultimate control over the agency's finances. It decides how much postage and services cost and can institute structural and financial reform or bail out the agency. Now, what are you hearing at work about this, Conan?
No one knows anything. Everyone has opinions. You got your Trumpers on one side of the room. You got your Bernie Sanders types on the other side of the room. And I saw this article through one of my coworkers, and all the way down the list. They better not. They can't do this. This is unions will attack. They
will.
And they absolutely will. So a lot of people are very fearful of this. I am more fearful of the privatization that we talked about earlier this evening, where it's some crony
going to the good old boys.
It's going to go to the good old boys, who's going to be subsidized through the taxpayers to basically keep on keeping on. It's not really going to change anything. No, I am the only one in the room who's been talking about this for years. I am looking forward to this. I have ideas on how to make it work. First of all post office are all mailboxes out in front of your house gone, unless you want to pay extra.
Pick them up.
You got to come to the office. We'll set up more cubicles, and you can come pick up. You can come 15 miles out of the boondocks, out of the mud, and up that snowy hill that I'm fearful of falling off of every time I drive up it. You can come into town, pick up your damn mail. I'll deliver your packages because we're making money off the packages.
Gotcha. The issue, by the way,
I will drive out there to deliver to that shipping that was $20 or whatever, because that makes sense.
Wasn't there some laws that came into effect because of Trump that are like against federal unions? I thought there was something that happened in the past couple of years that really started weakening these federal unions.
Well, I know that there's the agreement with third world countries that are all subsidized. And he said he was going to back out of that a year and a half ago. We actually talked about this on this show, and he's kind of got lost in the shuffle, and I don't know where that's at now. But yeah, basically China, there's a reason why you go to Amazon and buy something from China and the shipping is cheaper.
It's like nothing.
It's like nothing, and it's cheaper than your own damn state.
But doesn't it take like a month to get there? It takes a long time.
Yeah, I've got a cat toy I'm still waiting for.
They're usually pretty. I've always had great success buying stuff from China. It's there in a couple of days.
Well, hey, we're going to be back tomorrow. Don't forget, Johnson, you got a last-minute sale on libertyminded.com. Yes. It's going to expire sometime tomorrow.
Yeah,
25%
probably
off.
evening when I get around to it.
Free Talk Live, Free Talk Live T-shirts, hoodies, gear, all kinds of cool shirts that you're gonna love if you love Liberty. So check it out.
One right now.
LibertyMinded.com.
Oh, and the Dissenter browser, it's based on the Brave browser,
and it does have plugins. It does have extensions.
You can
see you tomorrow.
Balance of nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I've always been high energy, just going, and I turned 40 last November, and I was tired all the time. Now, taking the balance of nature, I just feel good. I have energy when I get home to still wrestle with my kids and do the honeydews at home. It's nice. I can tell that it just restored me to feeling normal, which is great.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we'll take off an additional $25 on your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FTL.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20 mymagicmud.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock is next after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,515, silver at $17.92, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,243. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, Iraqi Prime Minister Adel Abdul Mahdi on Sunday accused the Trump administration of violating his nation's sovereignty and further heightening tensions in the region after the U.S. bombed several targets in Iraq and Syria, killing at least 25 fighters and injuring dozens more. The Pentagon claimed the airstrikes, which U.S. President Donald Trump approved late Saturday, were a defensive response to a rocket attack on an Iraqi military base last week that killed an American contractor. The U.S. blamed the Kataib Hezbollah militia for the attack and pointed fingers at Iran, which the Trump administration said is funding and arming the group. Kataib Hezbollah quickly vowed retaliatory action, saying the Trump administration's actions have left it with no choice but confrontation. An Iraqi militia group allied with Kataib